So the next option below this one was the 6900. Would be the one that's directly below it. Let me see if I can find. Right here. Let's do this. Let's do this together. So, all right. So, let's say your budget is $500. Does that sound reasonable? Okay. So, because I'm going to be looking at used. I'm not going to be looking at new because you can get such better performance out of a used card than you can out of a new card. So this one's a bid. You could bid on that. That's $350 for this exact card, which, like I said, is a direct step below the 6950. You can see there's a lot of 6900 cards that are going for under $500. It's not good. Let's say you want to go with Nvidia. That would be what, a 3070 at that price. So you go with a 3070, stay under that price. I wonder if you get a 3080 for that price. Yeah, you can get a 3080 for just under that as well. So you can go with a 6900 XT or a 3080, and both of those would be like a huge uplift in performance. The other thing you have to consider is going to be your power supply, because more than likely, if it's a pre-built, the power supply is not going to be strong enough to support this. So plan on spending like another $150 on a power supply, something no one ever really talks about. So that would be the other part of it. I would charge $100, but I don't know what kind of shops are in your area or anything. And what they actually do. But that should give you like a general. So you'd probably be looking like all in, you're probably going to spend around $700, $750 for everything. That includes video card, power supply, and having it installed. Yeah, not a problem.
CNC machine, so the body of this lock is very nice, very smooth, except when you roll it over, it no longer has that very distinctive, that historic master lock keys. The same master, that historic.
What's going on, Ryder? You doing all right this morning? Looking at the shop in your area, they have a MSI GeForce 4090. Yeah. Why do I have so many Canadians? Y'all are tech freaks. Anyways, yeah, their 4090s are extremely, extremely overpriced still. Oh, man. I spent all that time yesterday working on this fucking lock. Now it's done. Oh, and in case you don't believe me, Ryder, there you go. It's now open. Finally, after all that time, got this stupid thing open. All right. So now I'm going to finish up all this lock picking that I just did by, which way does this go? I think it goes like this. I'm going to actually disassemble this lock. So I get more locks in. All right. It was actually fun spending a day doing that. It's been a long time since I've just picked locks. Go on Amazon, see if there's any, like, anyone selling like a padlock collection that I can get my hands on. Realized I was going way too heavy on tension there. Like, heavy tension, but not that heavy tension. I was turning the lock, the core of the lock, so much that it wouldn't even... It would not even set. Did it? Like I said, it looked really good, what you posted online. In the Discord. Cool. Alright, let's take this lock apart. So that way you can kind of see what the pinnage is. First thing that comes out, we got ourselves a screw, and this plate helps retain the lock, which it goes like that. And now we have our core. It is a simple 5-pin lock. It's got 6 slots, but only 5 of them are actually engaged. I gotta remember how to do this. It's been a little bit. Remember that when I take this out, it's going to want to eject all these pins out at me. So we'll take this retaining clip off of the back. Back, and then this will come out the front. So this is the Bible. This is where the actual pins that unlock everything go. And inside of there, there's a bunch of springs. Let me turn on the microscope. What's going on, Holden? Finally got that lock open. So you can see down inside of here, like, even though like this lock could be set up for 6 individual pins, only 5 of them are actively being used. And yeah, I'll go over the different pins that are in here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the 6th one is just there. So I repinned this lock just because I wanted to make it a little more challenging. So manufacturers of locks that want to keep them from being picked will do different things like this. So this is a pin that when you're picking it, each one of the notches that you see in it will give you the idea that you are like actually setting the pin correctly. So I'm going to put that in one. And then you have this, which is called a spool pin, which what a spool pin will do is when the lock, when you push the pin down, like if the tip of my plier, my tweezers here is the shear line, what it'll do is if it's sitting in the center of the shear line, it'll click into here and your brain will be like, oh, I totally set it. And then it'll slide up and then it'll stop, so you think you're oversetting it. But in actuality, you have to get past this one as well. And that's not something that's easy to feel. Like I guess I'll show you like what pull out a driver pin here. So, and this is what a driver pin will look like. This is what your key actually presses against. And most, like, say, master locks and Wilson Bohannon locks will have these guys where they're perfectly smooth. So this is how they sit in there. so that when you're actually picking and you hit that shear line with them, it's just continually smooth, and there's nothing stopping this from, giving you any sort of feel or anything. So, make sure to put this guy back in there, right? So that's going to go like that. Yeah, and then we just drop these back in here in the order that they belong. And which one of these is empty? It's the one all the way at the back. And we are going to drop. We're going to just change the pinning order again because I already do not have a key for this. So, and then what you'll find is you'll find different different locks or different keys, key pin lengths. Most of the Bible pins, which is what these are not. They're all going to be the same-ish length, and the springs on them will have different like tensions and things like that to make it more difficult for someone like myself to just get into the lock. Let's get that lined up and push down, so you can see that pin that I'm working on right now. The spring itself has more tension, so it's more difficult for me to actually get it in there. So when I set it in there, you can see it sits above the shear line compared to the other ones. Looks like the one next to it popped out too. Let's get those both back in there. So the spring has just has more spring tension. Let's grab this last one, and we will drop that in there. Now, with these things being super springy, we are going to take this and there's a couple different ways we can do this. Usually I would have a tool that would do this for me, but I do not have my tools with me for this, so I probably shouldn't have taken this apart, probably. But basically what I have to do is I have to push all of these pins down so that they get flush enough that I can slide the cylinder in there. I dropped a key pin. And I want to avoid, dang it, I keep doing this. I want to avoid dropping the there's this channel back here at the back. I want to avoid getting a pin stuck in there. See, I do have one. I think this guide is too big for this. Yeah, it is. So I just have to do this gently and pray. Son of a bitch, just knocked a spring out. You gotta be very careful. This thing is super springy. Okay, I got the cylinder back in there, and I'm going to get the retaining clip put back on there. And then I actually need to get a pick. this. Because what I have done is I have created a situation where the cylinder cannot turn, and I'll show you why. So if you look down the barrel here, all of those pins that I put in there are now sticking up into the keyway. So the easiest way to do that is to take just a regular pick, put it in there, push them all down, and then you should be able to, in theory, rotate it around so that you can keep rotating it, and then the lock is now locked again. And then you can actually keep this out. You can actually pick the lock like this. I guess I'll show you a couple like security features that you wouldn't really think about for a lock real quick. I don't know, like I said, I got really into this a few years ago. Locks used to be made where you only had this single line here that was considered the shear line. And what ended up happening is people would end up getting very thin pieces of metal, like almost like aluminum foil, like tin can thin, cut out basically a piece of metal that has the same curve as this, slide it into the gap that you can see right. Let me see if I can focus in on that. So slide it into this gap right here along this curve, and then all you have to do is take these pins, push them up slightly, slide the metal in, and then the lock will open. So manufacturers figured that out, and they're like, hey, we need to do something to stop this. So, all right, and then now, like I said, you can take this, you can put it in a vise, and you can pick it just like that. So the security feature they add, let me finish that sentence, they added was adding this lip here. So you can see the inside of the metal here is one level, and this front face of the key actually covers that, so you can't slide those pieces of metal into it anymore. That doesn't stop attack paths like this right here. This is where this little ball bearing that you can see inside of there. There's a little ball bearing. That's what actually keeps the lock locked. You can shim the lock by sliding something thin enough down in here to just press the ball bearing back. That's another way to get into these. There's a bunch of ways to get into these. It's fun. And looking at this, I might have to repick this lock to get this closed. No, I should be fine. All right. So now we put the core back in there. Just drops right back in there. You're going to go, that goes like that. That goes like that. And then the screw that holds it all in is underneath the lock, the actual shackle. And then it screws back in. Basically, you can get this lock apart. Like, the nice thing is I can get this lock apart no matter what, because of where it is. And now I can come in here and I can pick this lock to my heart's content again. Cool. That's that. Now we have something new to work on today. Computers. I actually have computers to work on. That's me being done with locks for a little bit, and my hands hurt. And I actually got some computers in. No Emily today. She's on a plane heading home. Hey, you're the next best thing. No one can be Emily. Hello? Yeah, use a lighter to heat it up. Oh well. Tried to call this business contact back, but won't let me do it. See if this battery is charging now. Medium, please. Cool. Battery high now.
Drive. Control brake boost. Okay, pretty good.
Yeah, and the audio's pretty good too.
Pumped in?
Oh yeah.
Horsepower and torque.
311 horsepower, 280 pound-feet of torque from a 3.5 liter V6.
And since this is all-wheel drive,
Yeah. Yeah, I should. Which printer do you have? Do you have an Ender 3, Ender 4?
we can assume, since it's Lexus, it's not good all-wheel drive for sliding and stuff.
For sliding, no, but for kind of regular handling in your snow and ice, probably pretty good.
So as a F Sport, maybe we should have some more sportiness and be able to slide because of that.
We technically do. They did make a lot of changes to the suspension.
Ender
and
3.
everything like that,
Yeah,
but
I have the same one sitting right on the other side of the camera.
A little non-slide push through corners 3 through 5 at Toronto Motorsport Park and see how it handles.
And it is a rear-biased all-wheel drive system, but it doesn't really feel like it that much.
Yeah, I'm sticking in auto.
Well, that's not bad.
Yeah, transmission's reacting properly, and it's not. Well, yeah, I just put the foot down and like nothing happened there.
Because you're in the wrong gear.
Because automatic's in the wrong gear. Yeah, you'd really want to be in manual for this.
Oh, for sure.
So it's kind of hard to tell if it understeer or oversteer.
Do you have the Ender Touch BL?
You can kind of judge that because it felt kind of understeery to me, but I'll do a cleash slide corner to really find out.
Okay.
Approach this in second and kind of slow and power out of it.
Just understeer.
Nothing happened. They're like, just like flat.
Let's
Yes, so we can talk about the looks, because this actually looks really awesome. It's been totally refreshed. So starting with the front end, we've got different headlights and a slightly different shaped grille.
Yeah, so the LED DRLs are incorporated into the headlights, and the DRL is above the actual headlight now.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. It totally looks very sharp, and then this grille is all blacked out.
Yeah, because we have the F Sport, so it's a lot more aggressive. And overall, this front end just looks crazy. They also have brake vents now, inspired by the RC.
Hey, I did the same thing. I have here. You know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna pull it over here.
But it's noticeably different.
This is mine. This is my backup printer.
Really nice body line that was popping like crazy for us today.
Yeah, kind of like this bottom left uptick thing.
I think the last IS we drove was white.
Yeah, it's just been sitting, seeing as I'm the only one doing prints now. But yeah, so I have the BL Touch.
BMW-ish to me.
So I have the BL Touch on this, and then I have this leveling system. And like I didn't put any, like I didn't put the springs on it because of the BL Touch, you don't need to do the springs.
And one more thing before we get to the back, from the front of the looks,
Yeah, that one's mine.
bright red interior, and I love this shade of red for interior.
Oh yeah, it pops from the outside.
Unless you're wearing a plaid sweater, then you just blend in.
Just matching my interior, bruh. Even though you can't see me, which is lovely. So moving around to the back, which you kind of also see from the side, is that trunk.
Yeah, it's definitely sharp.
It's a really bold, wide thing that I think they like had difficulty actually making the mold to actually make that trunk possible.
But we do have a cool carbon fiber spoiler up top.
Yes, part of the Series 3.
Little one, I think it looks really good, and when it pops, it looks really nice. And then I guess the best part of this whole car is the new taillights.
Yeah, they look unreal, like razor sharp.
I feel like everyone's doing the lines all the way across, that in 5 years.
Well, they're not. I didn't think they were that expensive. I thought they were like $20.
I don't know, man. These look really good, though.
Yeah, no, they do, but like I'm saying, it's gonna be 5
Yeah, the BL Touch sensor's like $35. It's not super expensive.
We have another 5 years of these exhaust tips, 'cause they are
Yeah, which is free.
sound good though.
let's take a look.
I personally, after having dealt with like poor bed leveling with this when I first got it, after putting the BL Touch on there, the difference is so night and day that like I recommend it to everybody. This is good.
And then from the inside in Sport Plus with the pumped-in audio, I feel like it's the same pumped-in throughout Sport, Eco, and Sport Plus.
Yeah, so they actually have a different intake system now. So they say it's a cool air intake. It doesn't look like a cold air intake. It doesn't have like an open element air filter or anything like that. But I think it's like a system that was kind of similar to the RCF or the old ISF, where it's like a dual intake or something like that. But it does sound good, especially in the upper RPM.
So then overall looks-wise, this IS 350, I think they totally nailed it. It looks better than the last one and better than a lot of the competition, like an M340i from BMW.
Yeah, I think it's a good looking car. This is a great looking car.
This or a TLX,
Oh, this looks better.
then by the TLX concept, I think looks better than this.
No, please don't rehash that.
Stinger, I think looks better than this still.
Yeah, Stinger's definitely cool.
And last G70 doesn't look as
No.
good as this, but the new G70 looks as good, if not better.
Yes, in a different, more luxurious way. Because this is still sportier, I think.
Okay, if it's sportier, if I floor it, are we gonna go fast?
Well, we'll see.
I was very surprised by that initial kickoff just flooring it in Sport Plus.
It downshifts quick.
I was in Eco even.
Well, there you go. And this is a 6-speed ancient automatic. Because if you get the all-wheel drive, you have to get the 6-speed. But if you get the rear-wheel drive, not available in Canada, you get the 8-speed, which is better transmission. I know, just these little things.
I would not want this in all-wheel drive. It's so not fun on the track.
Unfortunately, you have to get the IS 300 if you want rear-wheel drive in Canada.
Yeah, and it's so disappointing because the all-wheel drive is no fun at all on the track.
Well, you wouldn't say at all. It's just fun is sliding for you, not the lap times.
I don't know, man. I had no fun there. But if you wanted to go to the track and test out your car,
Yeah, exactly.
no.
The CR Touch, isn't that the same thing? I've never used the CR Touch. But I would imagine it works the same.
Yeah, I did
Did
the.
you have a desire to know what you were?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I heard Oprah said that it was like the best Christmas present to get people or
Okay,
something.
gotcha.
The 23andMe.
Yeah.
So I just do whatever she says.
Yeah.
And I did it. I spit into the tube and I sent it into the science factory. And then I got it back. And so here's what I am. I'm like 30% Irish,
Uh-huh.
which I kind of knew. I'm like 30% Spanish. I'm 8% West African.
All right.
I'm 7% Native American.
Wow.
This is really only interesting to me. I'm so sorry. I'm 1% Ashkenazi Jewish,
Oh,
which
wow.
I like
Yeah.
totally didn't know. I'm really 1.6, but I'm rounding up
Okay.
for that one. And I made homemade matzo ball soup recently. So
Wow.
yeah, I
Did
did the.
you have a desire to know what you were?
Yeah, well, I heard Oprah said that it was like the.
Oh, seriously? Did they ever try this thing? In the old days, we could cram top-of-the-line components into the tiniest of cases and still manage to cool them. But sadly, that is no longer the case because the PC industry has gone utterly bonkers to the point where you simply cannot fit a new GPU into a small form factor chassis, let alone cool it. That is, until now. Hailing from Japan, this is the Bixby 1080 external cooler. An absolutely massive radiator that goes beside your computer, not inside it. And Bixby says that it can cool 2,000 watts worth of computer, which, here, there we go. You know that we are going to be testing. Just like we're going to test your patience for my terrible segues. To our sponsor, Build Redux. Is building a PC not your wheelhouse? No problem. Let the experts at Build Redux help you out. Just pick the parts and they'll do all the hard work. Check them out at the link down below. I'm not sure where I got the idea, but I thought it would be smaller. While I've never seen one like this, though, the idea of an external water cooling system is nothing new. And in fact, back in the early 2000s, external water coolers were more common than sticking radiators inside your case.
Yes,
And
they
most
were.
cases that had a
Oh, here, you know what?
capable sticker on the box simply had a couple of holes punched in the back with grommets that you could run tubes through.
It's funny.
By contrast,
I literally
modern
just did
cases
a
are
little
designed
video
so
about
that
that.
pretty much anywhere they leave space for a fan, they also try to leave space for a radiator because, well, what else were they going to take up that room with? 3.5-inch hard drives? So then you're probably asking yourself, why in the modern era are we looking at an external water cooler? And the answer is, since Nvidia's 3000 series, we haven't really been able to pack the same tier of hardware into our small form factor PCs.
Yeah, the magnetic build plates
that
are
amount
nice.
of heat,
I have that on
just,
my,
I mean, even if we could
I have
stick
it
it
on
in
the-
there,
the
isn't
Prusa,
practical. Because
but on
even
this
if
one
we
here,
can
I
keep
just
temperatures
have
under
this,
control, it's going to be super loud.
remember what this
like,
stuff is
sure,
called.
the water block on this RTX 49
basically,
does
like,
make
nothing
it
can
a
stick to
lot
this stuff.
smaller than it was out of the box.
Or
But these things are
whatever
so
this-
darn
it
tall
stick- let me rephrase
that in
it.
a
It
lot
sticks
of smaller
very well to this,
cases,
but it peels
ends
off
up
of this very
interfering
well.
with the fans.
I ordered like a
and,
bunch of
I mean,
sheets of
that's
this, and I
before
can't
we
remember
even
what
stick
it's
a
called.
radiator on
But
the
the
things,
magnetic build
meaning
plates
it's
are dope.
basically impossible until you have one of these. By using an external cooler, we can still have a nice, compact PC sitting on our desk while the heat and noise get chucked somewhere else. So let's take a closer look at it. Bixby is one of those brands that I've heard of before, but only in the context of super cheapo budget stuff on AliExpress.
Have you ever used one
So
before? Because if not, then like go super cheap. Like I got the Elgo Mars, I think 2. I think is what it was. Like it was like $150. It's a good printer to learn on. So you get the idea of like what you all need to do maintenance on a regular basis.
I've never really had a
Before you spend
reason
money
or an
on a real one.
opportunity to look more closely at their products. Overall though, I gotta say, my first impressions are pretty good. It's using what appears to be anodized aluminum pretty much anywhere. It's got a very kind of industrial vibe to it, but I like that function over form kind of design, right? Like this grill is gonna keep your fingers out, sure, but it is not gonna interfere with airflow. Around front, I've got what seems to be some kind of integrated flow distribution thing, though it doesn't distribute water anywhere.
It's a fill line.
In, out, and I guess this is presumably fill?
Yep.
Now you were saying you wanted to do a leak test on it before we take it open. I don't think that sounds very exciting, but I can also see where you're coming from, so why don't we do that real quick. For the uninitiated, we are pressurizing the system because if air can get out, then probably water can also
Yeah,
get
then that's great. It'll do
This
it
looks
perfectly.
really expensive. Ooh. This has a very hand-built vibe to it, doesn't it? On the one hand, obviously, these are all mass-produced parts. I think I'm looking at a DDC pump over here with a custom top that's integrated into this distribution plate. We've got what appear to be just off-the-shelf Bixby RGB controllers. These are clearly fans that are generally available outside of this system, but the actual integration of all of these components looks very hand-done, and all of the individual parts of the enclosure are just either sheet aluminum or extrusion, meaning that it's probably a pretty low volume product. Goes
What
in
was
here.
what? Yeah, it's just an Elgin Mars. Yeah. Yeah, it's an Elgin Mars.
Pumps out to here, the bottom of the radiator, right? That makes sense for bleeding the air bubbles out. You want to push the water into the bottom so that the air comes out the top. That goes way down to here, and then up here, and then out.
I feel like there could have been a more elegant way to do that.
Me too. One thing I really like about the design is that this radiator is designed with an extremely low density fin structure. What that means is that it should perform very well with low RPM fans, meaning I expect this to be extremely quiet. We've got a simple
it's not gonna be
adapter
quiet.
from 12 and 5 volt Molex. So it appears they expect you to simply run this inside your computer somehow to this 4-pin bad boy right here that screws on a little something like that. It's great that they have this high security, can't be accidentally unplugged connector here. But if you were to trip over the cord, nothing would prevent this from A, pulling out, and B, yanking your computer off the desk. My enthusiasm is a little dampened, but if the performance is outstanding, then I think I can get over it. Let's move on. Nice. Now let's take a look at the challenges we ran into trying to build a small form factor system with modern hardware. Will the 4090 fit this way? No. Not only can we not fit a radiator up in the top, we can't even fit fans. And if we took the fans out of here and we just put fans and a radiator on the bottom, there is absolutely no way that that would handle the heat load of a 4090 and our CPU, which I'm assuming is crap. I don't actually know. I think there's a spec list on here. Wait, also on the prompter, Bixby only accepts defects within 10 days of delivery?
Yep, that's cool.
A 10-day warranty. Anywho, it's an i9-13900K in here with a Strix Z690i motherboard, an 8TB Sabrent Rocket PCIe Gen 4 drive, EK Velocity 2 CPU and GPU blocks, and an 850-watt Silverstone modular power supply. This is a top-of-the-line rig, and we're going to have links to all of these parts down below. Alex, I guess we're going to have to just remove these fans then? in
Yeah,
order to
they
get-
cannot live.
Okay, see you later, fans.
GPU out for a second.
What the heck? I mean, how is it even going to close with the fans removed, Alex?
It's very close.
I see.
the power switch has not really been working, so we want to plug that in.
Okay, so first of all, the motherboard things come on little daughter riser things. So we're looking at that. You know, the external water cooling paradigm might feel inelegant compared to what people do these days, but it's actually kind of smart. Like, yeah, you have to pay extra for the chassis for it, but that's a one-time thing, and it's the sort of thing that no matter how many times you change your CPU or GPU or your blocks here or even your case, you can continue to use. I can't say this makes me very comfortable. Do you see the angle this GPU is sitting at right now?
You can see the whole back of the chassis move.
Oh, wow. We're just taking all that flex from the back and putting it on the bottom. Okay.
You said we could put fans in there, but I want art.
I see. What? Really?
It'll look, yeah.
I don't want to be responsible for this, David.
What? No, hold on. Wait, what are you doing? You're just gonna... Oh my God.
Thank you so much for allowing me that pleasure.
This is optional, but I would strongly recommend using quick disconnects with any kind of external water cooling system, just because it means that moving the system around is going to be a lot easier. Can he do it? Oh, what? Seriously? If we just power it up, that might do it. We're just going to power it on and power pour.
The worst part is I was about to suggest that too, so.
Oh no.
Oh, and if the power button works now, that would be cool.
Hi, is this Sue? Yeah. Hey, this is Chris over at Brandon BC Repair, returning your call. A what came up? A formula? That sounds like an error. It doesn't sound like a formula. It sounds like an error. I don't know. I'd have to look at it. Yep, till 1. Do you know where Gettle Toyota is on 41? We're the stoplight directly south. I feel like you've been here before. Okay. All right. Yeah, just go ahead and bring it in and we'll take a look at it. It is
You closed up the side panels without testing it.
Yeah.
Bad GBs. Okay, how much you want to bet I can plug in that thing behind the GPU? I made the problem worse.
Just pull it out. Just pull it out. We're doing
I think
it
I
this
pulled
way.
the daughter board out.
Oh, geez. This is going to be very difficult.
Yeah.
I think we might have to pull the GPU.
Nope, I've got it, I've got it.
Oh, we should probably turn on the power supply.
Are you f***ing kidding me? Alex. Okay,
Oh!
Oh, jeez.
okay. Oh, shoot. Here you go. Just never turn it off again.
Why is it still spewing?
Well, remember how I was saying I didn't really understand their reservoir design?
Yeah.
I still don't.
This is very wet.
I have no water in the system, sir.
What?
No water. That pump sounds so unhappy. I'm sorry, Pumpy. I'm trying. We're not getting any water to the system yet.
Yeah, this thing's bone dry right now.
I'm working on it. I can feel water on my sandaled toe. We're gonna try something bold. We're gonna crack a fitting.
Oh, there we go.
Whoa, whoa. Hey, oh, how you doing?
Hey, your computer might get water soon.
Okay, so there's water making it to the computer now?
I don't see any yet.
For how much they're charging for this thing, I can't say I'm especially impressed.
Oh, the computer shut off. Excellent.
Oh, crap.
Now it's on.
Okay, the power button works. I'm going. It's for testing. Come on.
Water!
Do we have water?
Yeah, water's in the GPU.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah,
GPU is
boys!
going to be so much happier now.
Jacob needs more water.
Look, David, I am working on the additional water.
Oh, it posted.
Yes!
Yay!
Yes, we successfully computer build. Okay, power down. This actually seems to be pretty effective.
Where's all the water going?
Where is all the water going, David?
Okay. Whoa! All right. Wait, okay, hit it again. Never mind. Did I lose more than I actually put in that time?
Almost definitely.
What on earth? Oh, the babies. Seriously? All that progress, unprogressed.
I'm legitimately concerned we're going to kill this with how much water is going out of this and into all of the electronics.
It had it coming, Alex. You know, it is a question that we used to find ourselves asking more than we do now, but it still comes up. Did they ever try this thing?
And like your fill indicator will always be full because the pump's pumping the water through it and out.
I'm trying to use my thumb to kind of control the acid reflux this poor computer is suffering from.
There's some babies too.
I'm changing the description of our channel to "We build bad computers so you don't have to." Wait, are you stuffing babies in there? Why are you doing that? Stop!
I want to get one in the fan.
No!
Or I can just... Oh!
No, you can't do that. Okay, recently I said there's no such thing as a bad product, just a bad price. I stand entirely corrected. Okay. Stop putting babies in the computer! Okay, we've got a bubble here, but the trick is that we need to fill it. Like, it's pretty clear that this is a do not buy. Big Ski, you aren't making a great first impression here, I gotta say. Okay, good. Now lower that, and I'll get this above you. Come on, bubbles.
That's working?
The issue is that moving the bubbles around doesn't help us. We have to get them replaced with water. And we can't put more water into the system because there's no way to fill the reservoir directly. This would take hours and hours and hours to fill a system. Fail, Big Ski. It's so friggin' loud. Meaning I expect this to be extremely quiet. I am outraged that I spent this much money on this thing. From a content point of view, I'm fine with it because this is hilarious. But if I bought this thing, what is it, 700 US dollars?
690.
I bet Alex and I could design a better this in like an afternoon.
Yeah, we would try it once and be like, wow, that was the worst water cooling experience we've had in weeks at least.
We wouldn't need to because we put a reservoir in the bloody thing. So let's have a look at the flow path in here and figure out why this isn't working. So here's where we're filling. This goes into the reservoir, right? But you can see this gluggination effect here. I think the issue is that there's not enough room for the air to travel up this. If this was like a big fat, like 3/4 inch tube or something like that, it might be all right, but this right angle fitting here is absolutely killing it. You can see here that even though the reservoir theoretically keeps bubbles from getting to the inlet of the pump, right? They should all rise to the top and then be replaced by this fill here, theoretically.
Oh, yeah. I see what's going on.
But in practice, it's not able to clear the bubbles from the impeller. So it's creating this like pressure on the other side of the pump that then shoots this water back up the fill port. Also, the inlet for the reservoir is so close to the inlet for the pump that it actually sucks the bubbles, even though they should float.
Yeah.
Should we try to fix their design?
Yeah.
Alex, you got any stop fittings?
Yes.
What's up, Ty?
Hi.
Don't worry, what we're doing is fine.
I've seen worse, although the babies are marginally concerning.
Where does this go?
It goes where Tynan's finger
Okay.
is, because there's
Yeah.
nothing going to be
Ready?
in there. Yeah.
Okay.
So you cut it like, I'm thinking like here. Okay, don't cut my finger. And then I'm gonna get in there immediately. Okay? And this goes on here, and this goes on here. Oh my God. This plate goes back there. Okay, how's our CPU temps doing, Alex?
79 degrees.
79 degrees, okay. Wait for it. I can fix that.
Watch out for the baby.
No, I'm not watching out for the baby. They didn't even put any Loctite on these stupid pass-throughs. So they just spin freely as you're trying to tighten things. Okay, I'm powering up the pump. Okay, so now our bubbles
Go to the fill port.
go to the fill port. You're welcome, Bixby. The fact that that's what it took to fix their design, that's not on us. That's on them. The reason I could think that they would use that is because I don't know if we're going to be able to close this panel now that we've moved it to the right spot. That's a really tight run there.
Oh yeah, we can't.
Yeah, oh yeah, how are we doing? Does it work?
31 degrees right now.
Nice. Nice. Also, Alex, your concerns about not having fan control, very valid. These are spinning at like 3,000 RPM. Maybe more.
It looks like something we would have made.
No, you take that back. We would have made it better than this.
We're able to dispel 313 watts. Cool. You can do that with a 360 rad.
Yeah.
Oh, almost 40K in Cinebench. That's pretty good.
Yeah? I mean, it's going to keep your water temps damn near ambient.
Once you fill it, it should work. You just can't ever put it back together again.
Just like this segue to our sponsor.
Guardio.
Oh, shit.
Guardio. Guardio is a browser extension designed to help protect you.
What is up, everybody? Happy Friday, and welcome to the WAN Show. We have way too many topics this week. This is a serious problem.
A lot happened.
Switch modder Gary Bowser has been released from prison with a life-destroying fine. Ooh. Meanwhile, game devs have been cracking down on hardware-level cheats. This is going to be a really interesting conversation. What else we got today?
Seagate was hit with a $300 million fine for violating an export ban.
Yikes.
And where is it? Gameplay trailer accused of being filmed IRL. It was that convincing.
Okay.
Everyone was fooled. Everyone.
That's the title tie-in today. Everyone? Really, Luke? Everyone. Let's just roll the intro. We'll talk about that later. The show is brought to you today by Vessi, Zoho One, and Squarespace. Obviously, we're going to have to jump right into our headline topic, which is the gameplay trailer that fooled the world.
Are we showing it, or are we just going to talk about it?
Yeah, we might as well show it. I mean, what? What's IGN going to do? Copyright strike us?
Oh, we could have just brought it up from like the creators. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. You guys are going to want to go check it out on your own screens because you're watching this through our compression.
Yes.
Now, there are some things that are very, very convincing about this.
Yeah,
In fact,
absolutely.
I think the approach of the building is probably the most hyper-realistic looking part of this gameplay trailer. The fact that this gets blown out as the camera's apparent automatic exposure adjusts to the darker environment here on the protagonist's left. But this flashlight, come on, it looks like a video game flashlight. And okay, to be
I thought
clear,
it was pretty good.
To be it's like, but this flashlight on the protagonist's left, but this flashlight. To be
I thought
clear,
it was pretty good.
To be clear, okay, I'll bring it back up. I'll bring it back up in a second. I am not hating on the people that were initially bamboozled here.
Okay, right. Yeah.
But when the game developer came out and said, no, this is in-engine, this is rendered on just a gaming computer, this is just the game being played, and people are like, no, I don't believe you. And they actually can't tell at that point. I mean, really? Okay, so we'll go back. Let's go back to the game. So I want to talk about this flashlight, okay, and the way that it illuminates things. That is not how a flashlight works. The light bouncing is not true to life at all.
I think it's pretty good. I think it's better than most games.
No question. But even after, so what happened is this gameplay trailer was released. People basically went, it looks like you're cheating. It looks like you just recorded body cam footage and you're trying to pass it off as a game trailer. You're trying to pull some kind of scam, right? And he comes out and he goes, actually, no. And he posts a no clip version of it where he's flying around.
You can technically fake a lot of what happened in that no clip version.
You can technically fake anything.
Entertaining. I agree with Linus actually, but I'm throwing some counterpoints to try to make it more interesting. You can technically fake a lot of what happened in the no clip.
Sir, you can fake a battle with a sea dragon in Shang-Chi. That doesn't mean that what he did is not perfectly valid evidence.
I completely. Okay, hold on. I actually have a bit of a counterpoint.
Okay, let's bring up the no clip. Let's bring up the no clip. Okay.
Yeah.
Unrecord.
I have it on my screen, full screen.
You've got it?
If you just
Okay.
want to share mine.
I'm coming over to you. Go for it.
So I'm going to go back to the beginning.
Okay.
This is it.
So here he is in the environment, showing the way the auto exposure, quote unquote, handles things. And then he goes, also, that is not the angle at which arms come out of an actual body. So, no. Here we go. Those reflections in the water look great.
Jump cut slightly.
And I want to make it really clear. I am not saying that this is an ugly looking game or that this hyper realism appearance that it has is not hyper realistic. It's hyper realistic. It's amazing.
It just looped. This is back to the beginning.
Okay.
So some of my arguments. There are
Sure.
easily things that this developer could have done to make the no clip proof significantly more obvious as actual real proof.
I mean, he went through walls.
That's not actually that hard to fake at all. I think that they did it this much so that there's just the slightest bit of doubt in some people because that is getting us to talk about it. I think this was tactical.
That's fair enough, which is fair enough. However,
I think the developer is very smart and did this entirely on purpose.
Personally, I did not need the no clip because there are some fairly obvious tells. And I mean, maybe part of this, and the people after the no clip basically saying, I still don't believe you, la, 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 la. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you guys because, and maybe part of this is that I do this for a living. Like I pixel peep and evaluate the graphical fidelity of things and look at new rendering features and their implementations. I actually do this for a living. But to me,
there's some things that stand out.
If you sent this to me and said, okay, what is this? What is this bokeh effect here? Obvious post-processing. That is not real bokeh.
I think another thing that really, really benefits all the footage is because it's trying to recreate this effect of like
shaky
some
cam,
janky body cam.
Yes.
It does a bunch of stuff like this where it actually it's intentionally lowering its quality.
Sure.
While having really, really high quality assets. So that makes it so much more believable. Is these like actually really rough, like kind of bad screen effects that they have going on make it so much more believable. It's a very interesting effect.
The way that they handle the motion.
Yeah.
Okay. The way that they handle the perspective and the camera shaking. So cool.
I also think
so cool
that this is like piloted by expert. So I have some theories that just like in Tarkov, there's independent head control.
Mm-hmm.
So in Tarkov, if you hold down your middle mouse button, it doesn't matter where your firearm is located. You can look around like this with your head.
Right.
And I think that's going on in here.
Mm-hmm.
And the developer, whoever, has just ran through the scenario a bunch of times. So they did it at really realism effective times, if you know what I mean.
Sure.
So when there's already that thing where you can kind of move where you're aiming, and the perspective of the like head of the person that you're controlling doesn't immediately move, so you have the firearm slightly disconnected.
And that's something most people wouldn't be used to and wouldn't imagine that a game would be capable of doing.
Because most like Counter-Strike, Valorant, stuff like that, they don't do that. It's fixed. There are games that do this already.
Yeah.
This one's implementation is extremely good.
Let's have a look at that.
I think it's doubling up with some independent head control.
Yep.
And a player who is extremely adept at making this feel real.
Sure.
Like, I think this is almost acted, I would say. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah, I could see that. I mean, it's a trailer.
Yeah, they went through trying to make it feel like it was real, which is what they should have done for the trailer. But I think it's both.
Again, we've got messy post-processing here.
The smoke.
Yeah. The smoke is absolutely video game
The
smoke.
smoke is wild, yeah.
The angle of the arms is also wrong again.
And it's not like, to be clear, it's not bad smoke for a video game. It's just also, it's video game smoke.
Yeah. The way that this darkness that he's standing in here is so dark, that's not correct.
Like blacked out,
with daylight coming in here, this would be blown out, but this would have a lot more light. And again, okay, I'm like I was actually kind of arguing with Riley about this before the show, because I said something along the lines of, "Where's my chat with Riley?" I was
also,
like,
really great, while you're looking that up, really great area scans of where this is.
I was like, it's obvious it's not real. What have these people never seen a game before? Must be console gamers. Modded Crysis can look almost this good. And he's like, I was kind of trolling because I knew that
going
he
a little far.
Thought it. Yeah, I was obviously messing with him a little bit, but he's like, bro. Me and apparently 75 of the internet were like, whoa, upon seeing it.
It's definitely a whoa. It's pretty crazy. I was talking to Jaden about this because he's really into game engines and understands a lot of their limitations and stuff like that. We've had conversations in the past about different game engines. I'll like comment about how some game looks good, and he'll be like, no.
This computer part, I'm going to show you how to disassemble a Dell Inspiron 5567 just to get to the battery. These are underneath it. That way you keep them all. There are times on some laptops. Let me call this gentleman up real quick and see if he wants to replace the battery in here. And then we will proceed from there. All right, so to finish removing the battery, we're going to take off. Now, in this situation, we are going to need to remove some of these little flat connectors, cable, these ribbon cables. And as a note, one of my chat members very, very intelligently mentioned, if you're not familiar with taking computer apart, always try and use plastic tools as pry tools, or will come with the black line. Here, I'll show you. So the black line that is on the cable needs to sit all the way in. It needs to line up with this. So you want to basically try and make it so that when this clip is laid down, you have the white and black create a solid line. So before you start putting standoffs, that the 7. Hey, thanks for watching that video. You can check out some of the other videos for more tech-related content.
Yeah, it doesn't because of these reasons that I'm like, oh, okay,
and it's
that's
a
actually a pretty
whoa.
good point.
But another thing that it only occurred to me now that my eye is trained for is not just the video game graphics pixel peeping, but cameras. I spend so much of my life working on one side or another of a camera. And so when I see something like this is such a perfect example where I go, nah, dog, this ceiling, this roof up here absolutely has strong reflections on it because of the reflectiveness of this water. This is not correct. It's very obvious to me because I know what a webcam should look like. But see, you can see it's doing a much better job of it here. After our protagonist takes even just a few steps forward, that wouldn't happen in the real world. It would be more gradual. That kick animation, though, come on.
But the door movement and stuff,
the door movement's pretty good.
Like they're I don't want to trash on certain aspects
That's
of it too
very
much.
fake, very fake, very fake.
What is
this flashlight? Look at it. Come on.
You can get extremely focused flashlights.
Yeah, you can get extremely focused flashlights, but they wouldn't have a beautifully defined circle around them like this.
Yeah.
No, dog. No. This looks great.
Oh yeah, one of the things that I thought of in the no clip demo to make it like more believable, he should have done object interaction. He should have like picked an object and like moved it around, replaced it somewhere.
Right.
But it's area scans, so I don't even think he can.
Right. Do you want to explain what area scans are? Because I think a lot of people are probably looking at this going, this is blowing my mind.
Level of detail is
How can
insane.
anything have this kind of graphical fidelity? Because there was another demo that popped up recently of like a village or something. I'm going to try and find it.
Okay.
But it was also photorealistic and apparently done by a single developer. Don't quote me on any of this, though, because I'm a little bit...
Again, when I was talking to Jaden about this before the show, he looked up and I think, if I remember correctly, I don't want to misquote him. I think he found that they like worked with some company to get scans, and he was saying that like the area that they scanned isn't necessarily, Quixel Megascan. There we go. I think that's what he said too. So it's not necessarily that the area that they scanned is in this exact configuration, but they could have like, cut it up. So, through this door might have been like some, I don't know, medical room or something. But they're like, oh, we don't want that. We want that to be another part of the warehouse. So they just like move it there, and they can do that. But this is like an existing area that they could have chopped up or just not. So when you notice things like something that stood out to me on my like first pass was the green. When I first looked at it,
should I be on your screen?
There's these green. Oh yeah, here we go. These green banners. Or whatever these are. I was like, oh, they all have unique graffiti. Like, why would they like bother to do that?
Right.
And then I almost immediately was like, is this some type of scan? And then, Jaden, without me even prompting, like immediately looked it up, and it was.
That's another thing too, because it's a scan, 3-dimensional things. Like, for example, the textures, we see some dumpsters and stuff inside later. Those textures do not look 3-dimensional enough as you move around them.
Even
they're quite flat.
Look at this banner.
Yeah.
Really quick. This just looks like it's a different color when you get close.
Yeah.
It looks like it's shading.
It's flat.
But as you go by, it's flat, right?
Yeah. If this scan technology improved to the point where you could scan in 3 dimensions, like more finely, obviously this is a 3-dimensional scan.
And it might have just been that like they didn't spend enough time on that one like sheet of plastic or whatever that thing is on the fence. And like maybe if they got more detailed scans of that individual thing, they could have actually gotten that depth. But it's really impressive what they're able to do with this like photogrammetry scanning stuff. There's people that have been scanning buildings using this and then just bringing in the untextured like depth maps.
Yeah.
And then texturing them with mid-journey textures. Which is really, really interesting.
One way or another, even if it's not the kind of thing that, I can look at it and go, wow, this is definitely body cam footage, because it's definitely not. It's not, some people are talking about the flashlight still. It's not just that it's a perfect circle. That's pretty normal. What it is the way that the flash light is static. Okay, so the edges are kind of blurred here. If we go back to it again for a second here.
Yeah, Atari in full plane chat just said you can 3D scan. Yeah, that's why I said like they might just not have taken as much time on that like one sheet of whatever, because it's probably not that big of a deal.
So come look at this. Here's something that they could do to improve this a little bit. You see how it has this this kind of halo around it. A real person holding a real flashlight would have jitter rotationally and side to side and up and down. It has no rotational jitter. So it's just a static, it's like it's a map applied to the light output that is coming from this gun. It's always the same kind of haze. That's what makes it look unnatural. That's what makes it look incorrect, not true to the real world. Some people are still in the chat saying, I'm actually still questioning this. Freddie Wong has done videos where he shoots actual video made to look like a video game. Guys, no. This is an engine. It's just getting that cool. Check this out. This is the one I was talking about from Taichi Kobayashi. It's not quite as, because of the way the camera moves, it's more video game like. Yeah. It's not as convincing. You can see kind of some fisheye to the lens, and yet the lens is not quite where your eyes would be. It doesn't have that vignetting that gives it that really convincing like goggle effect. I think that's part of why the other one's so convincing too, is it really feels like you're looking through goggles.
Yeah.
But in terms of the scans, in terms of the photorealism of this, guys, games are coming. They're gonna look like this. Yeah, this is freaking cool. It doesn't matter.
See, like that waterfall doesn't seem legit.
Yeah, but
that house. Oh, my, for a second there, when there was none of the outside, that looked like it could have been a Google Maps screenshot.
Yeah.
Like,
it looks like a picture.
Wow.
And look how different and like independently waving, like all this greenery is.
And stuff.
It's the greenery on this one. I'm not going to play the whole thing because I want you guys to go watch it. It's just UE5 environment art, Cliffwood Village. Go check this out, guys.
That's wild. I've never seen that.
I'm
gonna have to go watch that.
It's beautiful.
Thing later.
It's art.
Yeah. Yeah, that's okay. So that's one of my like biggest, I guess, red flag concerns about this thing is how many people it convinced and how realistic it is. Like, it's very, very impressive. Yes, there's some tells, but it's extremely impressive.
With a little bit of AI and a little bit
more polished, a little bit AI. Give it 3 or 4 years. The old, when I was first growing up.
I thought you were getting into how this could be like dangerous, like faking things or whatever. Oh, that is where you're going. Oh, good.
When we were first growing up, it was Pixar. It didn't happen, right? And then that pretty quickly was like
video or it didn't happen.
Video or it didn't happen.
What's truth now?
That's like gone. Jaden was saying, you combine a bunch of these things. You combine, as far as this has gotten in regards to realism with the movement and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You combine that with
lower the
deepfakes.
Resolution a little bit, and it'd be tougher for me to tell. Like, part of how I can tell is how sharp it is.
Yeah.
Although, yeah, that's something I didn't even mention. It looks too good for like body cam or webcam or like GoPro footage. It's too sharp.
It's like too high quality.
Yeah.
A lot of those things are they're buying for like the entire country's police force, right?
Yeah.
So like they're usually going to be pretty cheap.
They're cheap. They don't look that good.
But yeah, you combine deep fakes in terms of how people look. You combine the like voice emulation stuff that people are doing. You combine a lot of the stuff that we see in here and even slightly improve all those things by a little bit. And the average person is not going to be able to tell, like, at all.
Yeah, this is wild.
And as long as you can have a legitimate debate where there's a significant amount of people on both sides, then what is like representable truth other than eyewitness?
This is great. Bixby in the floatplane chat says live stream where it didn't happen. I mean, have you seen some of the unmaskings that have happened with like the biggest ones that I'm aware of were some live streamers in China where they were pretty much wearing the appearance of a completely different looking person.
What? No, I've never heard of this.
Really? I thought we've talked about this on the show before.
I don't think so.
Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Beauty YouTuber exposed during live stream. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, this is it. This is her. This is her. So it's like real-time appearance modification.
I mean, you
live.
see those like filter things on TikTok and stuff.
Yeah,
it's not
exactly.
like they don't exist elsewhere.
Yep, 100%. And when you're running them on more powerful hardware, you can do more outlandish things with it. So live stream where it didn't happen? Nope.
Yeah.
Well, we have nothing left.
The second it's video or it didn't happen, live stream or it didn't happen is already basically out the window.
Well, it's harder to apply those effects live. I mean, you look at, again, back to
but
Shang-Chi.
if you can do it.
Okay, dragons are real. Not live, not real time.
If you can do it not in real time, being able to do it in real time is coming. That's what I'm saying. Like, eventually a computer will get fast enough and it can just do it. It's fine.
Yep.
It'll be right around the corner. Companies like Nvidia will make sure that happens.
I do want to jump into the LTT merch stuff for this week a little bit sooner than we normally would, just because I don't want to see people ordering this and not taking advantage of the promo. It's very unusual for us to do this, but we actually have a launch promo coming with the item that we are announcing this week. Meet... Here.
Thanks.
Meet the WAG hoodie. Is a little tiny WAG hoodie for your dog.
Yeah. It's so cute.
It has all the same features and quality that you've come to expect from the regular human-sized WAN hoodie, but now in a convenient size for small to medium-sized dogs. It also has some dog-specific features, so the hood can be buttoned back to keep it out of the way of your furry companion. There is a leash hole that passes through the hoodie into the inside, so you can run your leash through it. It does have a kangaroo pocket here. Does it actually go all the way through? Hilarious. It does go all the way through. We actually went way over the top in terms of the quality of the construction. Like, it's even got the same built-in orange accents on the sleeves. But anyway, the point is that on the back, it's got this little kangaroo pouch and a working, YKK of course, waterproof zipper that you can put, you know, I don't know, extra like emergency doggy bags or condoms for all the action you're going to be getting because your dog is so cute and you strike up so many conversations.
I can't believe your dog has a hoodie.
I know, right? Small to medium-sized dogs. If you go on the site... Oh, right. So I was going to mention the promo. Normally, we don't do launch promos, but we do have one today. If you buy the WAN hoodie and a WAG hoodie, it's $24.99 for the WAG hoodie, but if you buy them together, you will get a $10 discount that's applied automatically at the checkout.
You can match your dog.
So you can match your dog, and
it's
look
decently
how cute your
stretchy,
dog will look.
and it's not super resistant. So if your dog was like a little bit big, it would be okay.
Okay. Can you hear me now? Yeah, I've been talking this whole time, thinking that I was being loud, but I don't think I was at all. So hopefully you can still hear me over
but
this.
do please follow the size guide very carefully. We are hoping to expand our available sizes to accommodate larger dogs, but not for now. Not for now.
So cute.
Who knows? I don't know what happened.
I don't know what you're talking about, pretzel parkour. I don't know. Apparently, we no longer accept a perfectly working card.
Customer support.
Yeah, all you can do is contact support, and we'll try and get you sorted out. I mean, better for us to not take your money than to take your money and like not, deliver it, I guess.
Yeah.
So we're doing okay.
Just needs to contact customer support.
Yeah, you got to contact support. Look at this! Ah! Hey, Ripley. I can't believe Jake put this thing on his cat.
Wait, what?
Yup. Oh man, it is so fun that we have so many of our staffers come in to, model the merch and bring in their dogs. What a fun shoot! Hey, there's Dennis and Charlie. Good boy, Charlie. Ah! Oh, that was a weird spot for my cursor with it on his eye like that.
I love how his cat doesn't even seem to like mind.
No, Arlo's chill. Whatever.
Sweet a sweater.
Arlo gives 0 Fs. We have a couple of other things to announce this week. We have 2 new limited edition sticker packs, computer cats and gaming dogs. So these are going to be in the bonus bin. I mean, you can just buy them if you really want to, but they are bonus bin items, I think. I'm pretty sure they're bonus bin items. So these are actual dogs of Linus Media Group. I don't know all of their names. Maybe that's...
It is a bonus bin item.
It's a bonus bin. Okay, good. Maybe that's something we specify. But I do know this cat is Dash. That's my cat. I'm pretty sure... Oh, this has got to be Arlo. I'm not sure all of the other cats necessarily. But, yep, they're all actual cats of actual people who work here. And I'm sure Sarah knows... who they belong to. And then the final thing is we have just launched our mystery plaid. So the latest addition to our popular mystery series. If you want to get a deal and you don't necessarily care.
So the customer took this computer to another shop to work on the computer. And all they did is replace this rear fan. Now the computer doesn't post for me. And it also doesn't... he said it was in a boot loop. So... yeah. This is fun. Let's figure out what's going on. So this is a Gigabyte. It's a Gigabyte B460M DS3H V2. So let's figure out what that beep code is. I'm getting 5 beeps. Yeah. Well, he didn't know I existed, which is upsetting. Seeing as I've been here for almost 20 years. CPU error. So I have a problem with the CPU. That's fun. So let's see. Come on, What the hell? When it wouldn't come unscrewed. Okay, so it's a Core i5 10700F. Is that compatible with this? I don't know if that's compatible with this. Tenth gen. Pins look fine. Bottom of the CPU looks fine. We'll give that a couple minutes to dry. But like that, it looks like the CPU itself looks fine.
What color of plaid flannel you get. You can pick up the mystery plaid flannel for $39.99 US. It's the same great quality, just in a mystery color. So if you check out the, whoop, yep, there it is. It could be this, it could be a this, it could be a this, or it could be a this.
Very cool.
All right.
Someone asked, is there a behind-the-scenes video of the photo shoot of the WAG hoodie?
I don't know.
And that could be a kind of fun idea, is behind the scenes of some photo shoots.
We have done one.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
we did one with the 3D down jacket, but I'm not sure if they would have thought to do a behind the scenes of this one. That would be a great question for our community coordinator, who is not off probation yet, but I bet if you posted it on the subreddit or something, if you're like, hey, attention LMG community coordinator, don't post a bunch of other random stuff, because the only one I'm going to flag for him is this one. But if you're like, hey, is there a behind the scenes coming? I'm sure he'd be happy to figure that out for you.
There's going to be like a million of those threads now.
No, I mean, I'll just tell him to ignore them, so it'll be fine. I don't want to create unnecessary work for people, guys. There's no point.
Yeah.
All right, why don't we jump into our next big topic? Switch modder released from prison with life-destroying fine. This is a tough one because on the one hand, one of our other topics is going to be, hey, thank goodness for a large fine for a change, because if you don't have the fine reflect the magnitude of the criminal action, then companies will just treat fines as cost of doing business and shrug them off. But in this case, we are talking about an individual.
A bit different when it's an individual.
But an individual who engaged in commercial activities as part of their criminal endeavors. Let's get through this. Fellow Canadian, Gary Bowser has been granted early release from his 40-month prison sentence on grounds of good behavior and undisclosed health problems. The background here is that Bowser pled guilty to trafficking mod chips that allowed pirated games to be played on Switch consoles in late 2021 as part of his involvement in Team Executor. Bowser was not a modder himself. His role was primarily PR and marketing. While Bowser's plea deal spared him substantial jail time, he's still facing a fine of $14.5 million, of which he has only paid $175 through menial jobs at the prison library and kitchen. Should Bowser get another job upon his return to Canada, his pay will be garnished 25 to 30% to service the fine that he owes Nintendo. Bowser is 52 years old and has physical limitations due to his ill health. Assuming a typical life expectancy of 81 years, Bowser would have to earn $500,000 a year, not including living expenses, in order to pay off his debt before he dies. This really does seem like cruel and unusual punishment.
Yes. The thing you brought up with like, oh, we have another topic about a company getting slammed with a fine. Usually we don't. It is interesting that today we do happen to have one.
Yeah.
But it is actually very uncommon, and something that we very often talk about is how these companies getting slap on the wrist fines for like 5 to 10% or less of the profit that they made doing a certain venture just does nothing, because that's just a cost of doing business for them.
Yep.
The scale of this is quite egregious, though.
The fact that there's no time frame during which his wages are garnished. I mean, and look, you know what? I mean, I was about to draw parallels to child support, where I say, like, look, we're not talking about another innocent life that, you know, Gary Bowser walked out on and is refusing to support or something like that. Even with fucking child support, when they become an adult, you're no longer obligated to pay it.
Right.
How does this make any sense?
Yeah,
and
it's so
and I mean,
intense.
and coming back to a punishment that is proportionate to the means, right? To the capabilities of the person being punished, or the entity being punished. Like, on the one hand, I'm looking at it going, yeah, okay, so garnishing wages, I guess, is better than taking 100% all the time, you know, forcing him to, put up a cup on the street and then literally take that and give it to Nintendo. Obviously, I guess it's better than that. But it is clear,
Especially
it is obvious that this $14.5 million sentence is completely unattainable. And
he's also just probably screwed. Like, if we can have a probably unfortunate conversation here, cost of living right now is insane.
Well, yeah.
Like, a huge percentage of people I know, if their wages just got deleted by 25 to 30%, they're just screwed.
Yeah, they're out. They're done.
Out of the house, on the street, immediately screwed.
So call
like,
this guy,
and
tell
he's stuck
him
with that for
he
life.
needs a new CPU.
And as far there's nothing in our talking points about this, but I would have to make the assumption that Nintendo would have thought of him just declaring bankruptcy and walking away from it. Hence the wage garnishing. So there's just no way out.
No.
I mean, honestly, if
the chance that he's going to start making...
Would he be better off in prison?
Very possibly, because I don't...
Like a minimum security prison.
If he doesn't have job prospects lined up that are very, very lucrative, then he's going to be on the street anyways. Like, I've been trying to think of, like, solutions.
Yeah.
What would you think if it was like it doesn't start getting garnished until he makes a minimum of some amount of money per year?
Okay, I mean,
you have to be able to earn a livable wage before the garnishing starts.
Yeah, we can play kind of point counterpoint here a little bit. Like, I'll play devil's advocate, just to be clear, that's what I'm doing. But my defense to that, if I'm Nintendo, right, is, well, then he's just going to carefully not declare any income above that amount, and we get nothing.
Yeah, so the country can't just take another homeless person, though. Like,
you're
like basically.
I know.
If that rule, I know
actually
you're
jacked.
I know.
I can
but that's what they would say.
I get that, but as the country of like Canada, I would just be like, no, because it's going to cost the country a ton of money in this situation.
Sure. But if I'm Nintendo, I'm kind of going, well, that sure as heck isn't my problem, and my copyright was infringed.
Yeah, so welcome to the limitations. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think a company should be able to just like decide that someone's going to be homeless for the rest of their lives. That's crazy to me. Like, unacceptable.
And
absolutely ridiculous.
And what's really mind-blowing to me is how, I mean, I guess that's sort of part of the cruel and unusual punishment, right? Is the unusualness of it. Countless people have been involved in, you know, whether we want to talk about what were they called, R4 chips or whatever for the DS, like in.
It was a court, not a company. So I've heard. Sorry. I see a bunch of people saying it was a court, not a company. That is, like, in a lot of ways true.
Yeah. Because
the company can ask for whatever.
Yes.
And lawyers and all this whole structure will encourage you to ask more than it's the whole bargaining thing, right? I want to sell this thing. I'm going to ask for like
start
2 times
high,
as much as
settle
I think.
less high.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they're it's going to be a very difficult conversation to convince them to ask for what they actually want, because nothing is structured to work that way.
Also, it's Nintendo, so what they want probably is blood.
Yeah, probably. They're like massive jerks. But the court did push it through.
Yeah.
So it is on the court, and that's just. I'm just mad at everybody. I just want to make that part clear. Like, I'm not saying the court is not to blame. Blah 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 blah. I just think this is whatever. I don't personally care. I don't know enough about that kind of stuff. The result is not okay.
Yeah. Our discussion question here is actually addresses how unusual this harsh punishment is, and kind of asks the question: does this actually reduce piracy? Or, I mean, knowing what we know about human nature, the way people gamble, right? Are people just going to keep making mod chips?
I think it's going to be way worse.
R4 cartridges and whatever else, knowing that they probably will escape any kind of punishment at all, and probably someone else is just going to get strung up to the tree while they continue to run amok.
All I've seen online about this, in a lot of the circles that I end up seeing, is just people deck thumping, like, just pirate everything from Nintendo you possibly can. That's the main communication I've seen out of this. Like, they're not succeeding in making people not mad. I'll say that.
Now, there's some really good points that are being brought up by the Floatplane chat right now. Vinyl says, I've seen allegations that the mod chip company, not him personally, but the company, brought in an astonishing amount of revenue, up to $10 million over time. And that is fair enough. It is well within Nintendo's right to chase that lost revenue.
Yep.
But it's pretty clear that Gary Bowser doesn't have it.
Yes.
So what? Just because he was the one that you managed to nail down, so you shouldn't go. It feels like they've gone after like a low-level mob crony, and pretty much
dropped the book on him.
Stapled him to the cross, and kind of gone.
Yeah, we
victory,
did it, guys. Haha, business.
When the boss is still walking free. This is not the win that you think it is, because if organized crime has taught us anything, it's that there's always someone low down who is going to be put in the way to take the fall.
Fed to the machine to satiate whoever or whatever else.
And I'm not saying that what Mr. Bowser did is justifiable.
No.
I'm not saying that it was legal.
Nope.
I'm just saying that compared to almost anything else that I have seen, this really does seem to fit the definition of cruel and unusual punishment.
Yeah.
To not just penalize what someone has, but what they will ever have. When we're not talking about a situation where it could be justified. We're not talking about the livelihood and well-being of a child, that had no choice in the matter. I mean, I guess Nintendo they did have a choice in the matter, actually. They didn't have to pursue such a ridiculous punishment.
Yeah, and like the court put it through. So just like re-upping that.
Yeah.
Yes, the court put it through.
The B460M
Nintendo also had the option to get the verdict and basically say,
there's something up with it. It's either the motherboard or the CPU.
But let this be.
I'm going to say it's
that's
the
a big
CPU
part of
seeing
what
as the
Nintendo
rest
thinks
of
is
the
such a
board
win
powering
here.
on.
Is that this is a precedent now. Now they've got a precedent to point to and go, yeah, that's right. Don't do it. But it could have been. They could have made an example out of Gary Bowser without actually destroying the rest of his life. And you know what? from my point of view, if this had then come up again, case number 2, and they'd gone, all right, we're litigating this again. We've got our precedent now. We're throwing the full book at them. I could even see it. At least they fired a warning shot.
I still don't think so, because like there's no limitations on this payback.
I'm not saying it would be right. I'm saying it would be better than this. Okay. I wouldn't have even thought this is possible.
Yeah.
The fact that there's no statute of limitations whatsoever.
The fact that the cost of living, like the livable wage in, I think he's in Toronto? I don't know. I don't remember. The cost of living, livable wage in Canada in general, but especially in like Vancouver, Toronto, Montreal, these types of places, is so high. Like the cost of living in Canada versus the average income is a really, really rough calculation right now.
Yeah.
Canada is constantly falling in average GDP. Like you look at like the States versus Canada, and the States' incomes and Canada's incomes are going up at relatively similar rates, but Canada's cost of living is going up at a higher rate. So like we're getting less like whatever you call it, play with money after your cost of living constantly. Canada is getting really, really rough to be in. Now he has to do 25 to 30% more on top of that, and as far as I know, doesn't have job prospects lined up. Like, what does he do?
The other thing that's really offending me here, I think Sofa King Stupid over on Twitch is proving their username kind of inaccurate here, points out, and this is a really good point, that maybe part of what we're so mad about right now, even if we didn't think of it, is the number of white-collar crimes like this that by comparison...
Yeah, no, that's
just get a little slap on the wrist.
That was our intro point, man.
Oh, I don't know. I was just mad already.
I was talking about companies, I guess, but
yeah.
you're talking about...
No, I'm talking about even individual white-collar crime. I mean, why is the Wolf of Wall Street walking free?
Yeah.
Why doesn't he owe whatever for the rest of his life? To be clear, I don't know the exact details of what went down in that particular takedown. The point is that it doesn't matter, right? There's plenty of examples. Like the 2008 financial crisis. Did anyone even get jail time?
I don't think so. I don't know much
one
about it. One
person got jail time.
Yeah, I think I remember reading that there's like 1 or 2 like fall
when it
guys.
was like a huge array of people. Like
Yeah.
It should not have just been that. Apparently one guy, yeah, as if one person did the whole thing. Sure, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'm pissed. I hate this. It's stupid. You shouldn't be able to condemn someone, and that's basically what
That's basically what this is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like here's a perfect example. What's her face? The one that had the college like scholarships company or something like that. College scholarships, scam, startup. Man, this is really great. Charlie. Oh, I thought it was. Oh yeah. Here we go. The startup founder who fooled J.P. Morgan into spending $175 million on her startup by just fabricating accounts. I don't actually think she's been sentenced yet, but this reminds me, I read a really funny article. Weird. It was an article that investigated how many of Forbes's 30 under 30 eventually ended up like in prison. And it was like a lot, like Sam Bankman-Fried, her. The
Martin Shkreli. I don't know if he was Forbes 30 under 30, but it seems like he probably would have been.
Might have been on the list, not sure. But then there was the one with the fake, I think, diabetes testing thing. Is that Elizabeth Holmes?
I remember this. Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on. That was her thing, I think. Oh, wow. She's the second most popular Elizabeth after Olsen and before Banks, according to my search history. Anyway, she has appealed her unjust conviction apparently. So like. Okay. She wants to stay out of prison.
Someone in Twitch chat said, didn't Gary Bowser commit wire fraud, install ransomware on people's devices, and a bunch of other non-Nintendo related crimes? Isn't that what he got really messed up over? At no point in time in this conversation did we ever say that he was a good person.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about them.
Not even once.
Nope.
What I said, what I started out with was that in the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms, et cetera, I think we have a constitution too, actually, now I think about it. I can't remember what the documents are called. Doesn't matter. The point is that cruel and unusual punishment is not cool. And this really feels like it to me.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to our next segment here. I just want to explain merch messages. Those of you who are new to the show might think, ooh, I should send a super chat or some Twitch bits. Hey, how about you don't do that? And instead of feeding some more money into the overflowing coffers of Amazon and Google, you could send a merch message instead. The main benefit is that instead of just digital pixels on a screen, you can get digital pixels on a screen and your order in the mail from lttstore.com. All you have to do to send a merch message, which will get your little shout out, you know, hey mom, or happy birthday Janice, or whatever it is that you want to put down there. You can get that popping up on the bottom of the screen, and you will get your order in the mail. Did I already say that part? Right. In order to do that, all you have to do is go to lttstore.com, check out whether it's some of our new items like the WAG hoodie or the mystery plaid flannel, and then in the checkout, you will see a box that will prompt you to fill it out if we are live and leave us a merch message. We will go through them to the best of our ability. I am not going to promise that we are going to get through all of them. Oh, wow. Our dashboard's been upgraded. This is super cool. Hold on a second. I'm just going to show my dashboard real quick. Boop, 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 boop. We now have merch messages per minute. Oh, where'd it go? In queue. It was here. Yeah, here we go.
Why are you showing this?
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was cool. We just upgraded the dashboard.
Okay.
What? It's cool.
Yeah.
Merch messages per minute is 3. And then, oh, watch this. Next announcement. So you're going to see it. Did it go? Is it going to go? I don't know. It might go. Something. Anyway, the point is, our cool little dashboard got some upgrades. Hey, thanks, Floatplane team. And so we'll go through them and, to the best of our ability, answer as many of them as we can. Dan, you want to hit us with some merch messages?
Sure. First one is up here from Bucky. Eager for a bigger WAG hoodie. He's got a 90-pound GSD 38-inch chest. Any advice for an unemployed embedded C programmer with no online portfolio? How to catch up on programming shifts from the past 20 years?
Yeah, I was gonna.
Oh yeah.
I knew that ending was coming. Sorry, I'm not trying to laugh at you.
Wow.
Whew.
Embedded C. I mean, Luke.
What?
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Do you want to, is a question that I would ask. Because there are still jobs for that. Like, do you want to just look for one of those? You don't technically have to have portfolio thing. What is this? What did you do?
I didn't do anything.
Nothing. There's something else going on. Okay, that's really wacky. But anyways, sorry, that's extremely distracting. I'm going to click on another window so it stops doing that to me. All right, we're good. I would just try to continue with the job in your field. There's work for embedded C programmers. There definitely is. I know you don't have an online portfolio, but if you've been doing it for 20 years, it sounds like you should be able to pass a coding test or something else. I don't know.
Yeah, so basically you're saying probably it would be easier to change careers outright
instead of fully well, no, not 100%, but instead of fully re-educating to some web programming setup, which is actually very different than embedded C programming, I would just try to stay in that lane where there is definitely still work.
Right.
Not probably as much work.
Yeah.
But there's definitely still work. If you do want to flip over, there's an absolute vast ocean of free programming learning tools. Learn to Code, I believe, is literally a website. I know it was a saying a while ago, but I think it's a website now. There's Leet Code, there's Free Code Camp, there's if you want to pay for courses, there's some courses from, is it called Udemy? I believe it's Udemy.
Right.
That are supposed to be really good. There's tons of places to relearn, but yeah, you don't have to. You don't have to.
All right, hit us again.
Mike is muted. Luke, do you think that with the latest generation of AI tools, that today's youth are going to be depriving themselves of background learning just by getting exactly what they ask for from the model?
I feel like that exact same question, but asked in a slightly different way with slightly different parameters, could have been asked about things for the last huge amount of time. I think I would like to think, I don't know if this is true or not, I would like to think that most people are naturally curious and will learn more than they need to about things. And if you want to hit a certain level of excellence, they're going to have to do that. So, I don't know. I think it will compromise it in the exact same way that people are generally not as good at mental math as they used to be because of the calculator. But it's not like people can't do math anymore.
All right, hit us again.
All right, let's get into some rapid fire now, too. Linus, where's the best place to post pupper pics?
Pupper pics?
Yes, of the dogs in the WAG hoodie.
Oh, I mean, I'd love to see them on the forum. That would be freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Also, the reviews on lttstore.com do support image uploads, even though almost nobody uses that feature.
Both.
So we would love to see pictures of your dog in the WAG hoodie. And for that matter, we'd love to see pictures of your guys' setups with the desk pads or, you know, drinking from your water bottle. Extra points if you Photoshop a speech bubble that says lttstore.com while you're drinking. Yeah, I mean, on the ABCs of gaming,
5 beeps.
I had a couple people send me pictures of them reading it to their little ones, which is super touching. There, okay, these are rapid fire, so I'm supposed to go really fast.
Any meet and greets jeweled for LTX?
Yes, it's called LTX.
Awesome.
I'll be all over the place. The rest of the LTT team will be all over the place, and we're going to have a ton of awesome creators there. Some of whom are going to have graciously offered to do meet and greets. I'm really excited.
After you started merch messages, did YouTube or Twitch give you any push for getting away from super chats or bits?
No, I think YouTube was appropriately embarrassed that super chats were not working properly. Yeah, they actually were working for a bit, and they seem to be broken again. So that's pretty cool. I don't know what else to say other than, hey guys, I mean, you know, it's not like I turned them off. I'm happy to take money on YouTube if people just want to throw it at the screen and have their chat highlighted in the side window or whatever. By all means, go ahead and do your thing. But I just think that merch messages not only work properly, but they are a much better value for our viewers.
Yeah. Also, some Floatplane people just pointed out you can edit your reviews and add a picture.
Oh, okay.
So
cool.
if there's a review that you've already left and you want to add some picture context, you can do that.
I am buying this screwdriver to put together $20,000 worth of IKEA kitchen cabinets. What tech in the kitchen that is nice touch you would recommend?
A drill.
A kitchen drill?
No, I mean, like, do not use a hand screwdriver to assemble that much IKEA furniture. For the love of all that is good, please use a power tool.
That's so much.
Luke, what's the most frustrating bug you have ever had to deal with?
It broke him. It's the Luke bug. The one where I start thinking and then all I can see is an hourglass turning around inside my own brain.
I'm not going to give a specific, but literally any time I go to be excited to show something to Linus and then it just like immediately shatters in front of my eyes, I'll just insert that scenario instead of a particular
all
bug.
the RAM.
It happens a lot.
It's so I'll like be messing with this thing all day.
I'm gonna
be
pull
like,
apart.
all
I'm
right,
just cutting up
it's
some
like
stuff that I need
our
to get
scheduled meeting.
done.
Time to go show Linus. He clicks on one
and then
thing.
I'm
it's
gonna
just
pull the RAM out. I'm gonna grab some different RAM. We're gonna test some different RAM.
I do have that effect on things.
Yeah,
I mean, it's good because then we get to try to fix it.
28 videos that I need to get cut up. So I am getting them sliced right now, so that way when I leave today, I can just hit start. And start coding, and by Monday they should be done.
We're working on it.
Uploaded.
Amazing update.
All right, let's jump into another topic here. Game devs are cracking down on hardware cheating. We've talked a fair bit about hardware cheating in the past, but what's funny is
I'm just going to grab straight up new memory because I don't know specifically like what the memory like is in there. In theory, yes, but I've tried both sticks and it doesn't post with either stick. So
particular method of hardware cheating is not really what we focused on.
No.
So we had talked about things like a robot arm that would move your mouse for you to point at an enemy. So a type of aimbot that would be pretty much impossible for software to detect because there are no additional processes running alongside the game. But
this still actually wouldn't stop that, because a lot of those use normal mice.
Right. But the thing is that this kind of hardware cheating isn't something that I ever really thought about, in spite of the fact that I'm a bit of a keyboard mouse supremacist. I still didn't think of it. Activision, Bungie, and Ubisoft are evidently cracking down on cheating via hardware modules that allow the user to bypass standard software anti-cheat detection.
When that Strix board probably costs more than this whole computer.
The kind of anti-cheat that they're detecting is users who are disguising their keyboard and mouse as a game controller.
Yes.
And then competing in game controller lobbies
with like aim lock.
Obviously superior keyboard and mouse, plus
the like auto aim and aim lock that you get with a controller.
Unbeatable, because now
you can snap onto people way faster, you can switch targets way faster, you can do all this other kind of stuff, but it will hold your aimer on the person.
Yeah, it's 360 no scope aim lock.
Yeah.
Right? Like
it's a huge advantage.
Yeah, so after Activision announced a new hardware pass-through, so that's what it's called, a hardware pass-through detection system for Call of Duty a few weeks ago, a large glut of these devices apparently flooded the secondhand market. This is a cool, maybe unintentional positive side effect of like gacha mechanics, is that it actually punishes people for cheating. Because when you lose your account, you actually lose in-game items that have your real value. Anyway, this is very much a side discussion. I still wish we'd go back to you buy the game and just have the game. But
as far as my understanding goes, a lot of them just don't care, and they'll just buy the skins again.
I mean, okay.
Because like the Tarkov people that cheat, a huge percentage of them buy the most expensive possible version of the game, which is like over 2 times the normal price, and just has like more like inventory space and stuff. Because they just don't. They're paying for the cheat too. They're whales, right?
I always sit down with my kids and I'm like, okay, is that real? No. Do we pay for that? No. All right.
Good. We can continue.
Now, an obvious solution to these issues would simply be to ban all pass-through devices. However, and that's why this is here.
Yeah.
You would also be catching folks who rely on things like the adaptive controller in the Crossfire.
Controller is insanely powerful. This is actually like one of the coolest devices that is released in a really long time, because if you see all these little like kind of dots at the top, those are all extensible
they're there.
Things. Like I think it's in here. We could take it out if we wanted, but there's a huge rack of plugs on the back that you can plug more things into the adaptable controller. I had a friend recently who I think they like
so basically every function of the controller has its own 3.5mm jack that can be used to plug in some kind of device that is more usable to.
So if your arm is like locked to your side for some reason, you could have a joystick that presses up into your palm and you move it around like this using your whole palm instead of just your thumb.
Yeah, the joystick connectors are USB and they're on the side.
You could have a button that's near your head, and if you have mobility in your neck, so you could like lean into it, you could press a button using your head. I had a buddy recently who severely damaged one of their wrists, and I had suggested that they use one of these in order to gain input into a game that they could use while having their hand in a cast. These things are actually amazing.
And essential.
Yes. So I was so proud of Microsoft when they released that, and I still think that's extremely cool that they're supporting it.
And so if we were to ban pass-through devices, it would be really hard to tell the difference between a bad pass-through device for cheaters and a pass-through device for people who just want to play the game.
Yeah.
Bungie in particular has emphasized they're focused on players who use these devices to gain an unfair competitive advantage, and has explicitly reassured players who require adaptive tools to participate that they will not be banned. I mean, I'd be surprised if the odd
You get accidentals.
Yeah, there's
False
probably going to
positives.
be some collateral damage here, but hopefully we can avoid too much of that, because that is the last thing that people who rely on their adaptive controller to play need to deal
Yes, agreed.
with. In addition
it's
to
almost time for
device
me to
detection,
go.
the Bungie security team will be monitoring gameplay for unusual patterns of player behavior to indicate cheating. However, it is still possible and even likely that these systems, will sometimes flag players with a legitimate need. Discussion question here. Bungie specifically defines cheating as using an outside tool to change the intended experience of the game, in this case by removing a challenge. Is this a good understanding of cheating, and how would you define it? See, I wouldn't just say...
Just be aware that they're not as, like... Well, you know this. If you 3D print it at all, like, if you can, print them on a slight tilt so that the lines aren't going perfectly through it, so that they go on an angle. It gives you a little bit more rigidity.
Changing the intended experience of a game? I would say changing the intended experience of the game for another player. Because changing the intended experience of the game for myself is modding. Changing the experience for someone else is screwing them over. And you know what? I had wanted to talk about this actually when we were discussing the Gary Bowser verdict, where I basically was going to say, like, time equals money. And in a sense, that $14.5 million sentence is basically like handing down multiple lifetime sentences if that's all that this person could ever earn. You kind of get what I mean? And so to me, it's the proportionality of the sentence that just makes absolutely no sense here.
Yeah.
So in this same way, the way that I define wrong is in the way that it affects someone else. Now, obviously, there are limitations. If someone were to, follow me around and
you can use the Prusa slicer. Like, if you use that, it works with the Ender stuff, and you can do the angle stuff with it.
Sit there being upset and offended every time I used the word "the," I would kind of go, well, then leave. Goodbye. Also, enjoy life as someone who's just perpetually offended by everything. Bye.
He never said "the" in that sentence.
Yeah, I was careful. Respectful.
Very good.
Wasn't on purpose.
I was trying to catch you.
But in this case, there is a reasonable expectation from that other player that they should be able to play the game without somebody impeding them in a way that was not expected nor intended by the game developer. So in our mutually understood definition of what this experience is supposed to be, you're affecting not only your own, but you're affecting someone else's, and in a way that is detrimental.
And it's
that
clearly
is the definition of cheating to me.
It's clearly trying to break rules, because like with the keyboard masked as a controller thing that we're talking about, you can play with a controller or you can play with a keyboard. You're screwing with things to make it think that you're doing something that you're not. So there's clear intention here.
Yeah, I think the intent is another really... I think the intent is important, even if it's difficult to prove.
Yeah.
Either way, I mean, I'm generally pretty receptive to anything that makes the gaming playing field more level and that rewards people who play the game properly and punishes cheaters. In this case, all I hope is that we don't see too many innocent users caught in the crossfire.
Yeah.
Should we talk about the big Seagate ban?
Yeah.
Or rather, the fine for violating an export ban. I feel like I've done all the topics up till now.
Seagate Technology Holdings has admitted to wrongdoing and agreed to pay a $300 million fine to settle allegations that it sold 7.4 million hard disks to Huawei, violating a 2020 export ban. This is the largest single administrative penalty ever levied by the U.S. Commerce Department's Bureau of Industry and Security, and it is meant to represent double the estimated profit Seagate accrued from the illicit sales. Seagate's annual net income for 2022 was $1.6 billion, and their estimated profit from sales was a period, because we don't have that note. I'm not sure what happened there.
Yeah.
But you know, profits
probably
can be a lot less than
150
rev.
million based on that the settlement was meant to be double the expected profits.
That makes sense.
So we can solve for X here. Let's go.
Yeah, very good. Some background information. In August of 2020, the U.S. Commerce Department expanded export restrictions against Huawei after they allegedly tried to obtain advanced technologies to undermine U.S. national security. While Huawei's 2 other primary suppliers stopped shipments, Seagate continued sales for 11 months as Huawei's sole supplier. Seagate even extended multiple lines of credit worth $1 billion to Huawei to help them purchase more hard drives. And to be clear, everyone knew that this export ban was going on.
Oh yeah,
it was like
the
in
biggest
all of
news.
the news.
Yeah.
We talked about it on Wan's show. That's even like probably one of the smaller ones. Talked about like every news agency. They 100% knew what they were doing.
So here's what I want to know. On the one hand, I think you and I probably both agree that if a corporation breaks the law, the fine should be such that it really isn't worth it to break that law again.
Yeah.
And I think we would probably agree that this is positive in that sense. But here's my problem with it, is that it sort of comes across, maybe not hypocritical, but I guess the cynic in me looks at this and goes, huh, so it turns out that you do know how to properly punish this sort of behavior when you actually care, but when the transgression is against the individual user, it's like, I don't know, $4 per user, you know, class action, whatever. Actually, most of it just goes to the lawyers. This seems like a good system.
Yeah.
Where is this justice for individual users, particularly when it comes to data privacy or when it comes to other rights violations? You know, how is it that, you know, someone like a TransUnion, man, I remember being so mad. TransUnion's own website, back when I had to sign up for credit monitoring because something, my insurance wouldn't cover me unless I had credit monitoring, something. And it doesn't matter. The point is I had to have this stupid service that I signed up for credit monitoring because of some identity something incident that took place. And TransUnion's own website had a help article talking about the importance of two-factor, and at the time TransUnion's own accounts didn't support two-factor. I pointed this out to the rep and they're just like, And how many breaches have they suffered? And so
I know of at least one, yeah.
And we're not talking breaches of trivial things, right? Like, you know, oh man, I mean, nothing's trivial. Nothing's trivial when it comes to personal data, but we're talking, you know, SIN numbers, which are our equivalent of an SSN, right? A social security number. These are things that, while technically can be changed, are a royal pain in the butt to change and can be extremely beneficial to ne'er-do-wells, right? Like there's databases out there that are going to have basically every piece of information that you could ever want to keep out of people's hands pretty much across the board at this point, because nobody is actually punishing this stuff in a way that is meaningful and forces them to take data security seriously. I mean, we went through, this was an interesting conversation. I was complaining to Luke about how our new password manager takes a long time to open. And he was like, well, let me tell you about that. That's because they are actually decrypting it. The reason our old password manager was so fast was because it wasn't being stored at all times in an encrypted manner. And I'm like, oh, well, that's
better.
Freaking amazing then.
Yeah, the usability of the stuff we're using now is genuinely worse in like a lot of ways, in my opinion. But theoretically, it's more secure.
So on the one hand, yeah, I'm happy. But on the other hand, no, I'm actually like pretty pissed off, right? Because this is just yet another double standard, and I'm just kind of tired of it. So, yeah, show us you actually mean business. There. Dan, that just still says the thing we're doing. We did too.
Way to go, Dan.
Dan's keeping us in line.
It's supposed to be additional topics.
Additional ones.
Yeah, you can do as many as you want until I tell you to do something else.
Oh. All right. Cool. Well, your average consumer
Yeah.
posted a review of the LTT backpack.
Tech
Now-
reviewer, pack rat, and lover of big backpacks, Judner Aura, reviewed the LTT backpack. He said pros: huge capacity, highly functional, comfortable, doesn't cause strain after long periods wearing it, well built, great material and layout. He loves all the pockets and the compartments, and anti-theft features and RFID blocking. Cons might not be for everyone. Sometimes you don't need big, and it can be visually plain, somewhat boxy. A major downside for people looking for a more, potentially in their opinion, stylish backpack. Very loud orange inside, would prefer teal.
Really? Oh, dang it. Where's the bloody...
Is that teal? I don't think that's teal.
I mean, it's tealish.
What I'm looking at looks like black.
No. Look over there.
Oh.
So he wants the Lux bag. Anyway, carry on.
Summary quote. This is directly from him. If you're in the camp that you don't care about looks, you just want it to work well, you want it to do its job to the pinnacle of how it should be done, this bag is absolutely for you.
I'm taking that as a W.
Big win.
I'm taking that
We
as a
take
W.
those.
Because Judner is a bit of a baghead. That came out wrong. But I think you understand
Yeah,
what
go ahead, give it a shot.
I didn't think
See
of
what
it that
happens.
way.
You bloody baghead. Okay, no, not like that.
Is that a thing?
No,
Sounds
I
like
don't
a-
think so. It's
Oh,
just,
yeah,
it kind of sounds like it's like a weird insult. Dan, can you confirm, is that a thing? Just calling someone a bag? Okay, perfect. He claims to be British. Anyway, the point is that bag enthusiast.
Okay. I'm going to finish the quote.
Cougar hunter? Wait, sorry, what?
Oh my! I'm going to
anyway,
finish the quote.
Yeah, go ahead.
I need to stop, Linus.
Yeah.
If you do care about looks, it's tougher. Kudos to Linus and the team. They made an amazing product, worth every penny. You just got to see if it's something that fits your style.
You know what?
It's all fair. It's good. Big W.
I consider that very fair because we knew what we were doing. People talk about how it's boxy, and I'm like, yeah. That's how it fits so much
fits
stuff.
like perfectly snugly under an airplane
It's
seat.
basically the size of an airplane carry-on. Like,
Yeah.
what do you want from me? That's by design. It's because we expect people to be able to. This is great. Oh, I love this. Judner's list and a picture of everything that he carries in the bag. This is freaking awesome. Okay, one laptop, sometimes two. That's by design because we know that so many people will have a personal
All right,
and a
so
work
those are gonna be
laptop
ready to
with
be
them,
cut.
sometimes at the same time, particularly for like
grab
when
some
they're
different
traveling, right?
memory.
3 tablets, okay. Extra phone, yes. 3 portable gaming okay. Really, man? I mean, you know what? These do address
What's it look like? A
very different needs.
A Switch, a Steam Deck, and a Pocket?
Yeah.
I think.
All right. Bunch of cables, heck yeah. 2 pairs of headphones, all right. Hidden AirTag, love it. 2 SSDs, USB hub, and a portable charger. Man, I love this because honestly, I've only spoken with Judner a handful of times. Like, I wouldn't describe us as best of friends. I definitely respect his work, and every interaction I've ever had with him has been extremely positive. But this is not just like, it's not paid. It's not, my buddy doing me a solid or anything like that. This is what they call, what's it called? Earned media, where someone actually saw the product, felt it was valid enough to not only cover it, but actually daily freaking drive it, use it for an extended period of time, and we still get the positive review. I don't think we even sent one to him. I would have to confirm that.
I have no idea.
I don't know, but I think he might have bought it. Either way, like I said, I've been following his work for a long time, and I respect him. I don't think he would be the kind of person who would give a favorable review just because we did provide a review sample, but I actually don't know. So I'm gonna find out. I will find out. I'm calling the person who would know, Mr. Nick Light. Do. Who needs time off when you can talk to Linus about work? This will go through at some point, maybe. Hello? Tell us? Hello?
Unless
Oh, seriously? Okay.
Unless it's all of us trying to do work and Linus just won't stop playing Vampire Survivors.
What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. I would never do that.
You just call him in a different way.
Yeah. That way, if he's like banging or whatever, he'll know it's important.
Beeps, even with new memory.
Is he out of breath?
Jeez, Luke. Hey, you're live on the WAN show. Hello?
What's up?
Hey, okay, hold on. I got to turn you up a little bit here. Hey, I just wanted to know, did we send Judner a backpack or did he buy it?
I think he bought it.
Okay, but you're not aware of us sending one to him?
Not to my recollection, but it's been a little while, so it is possible, but I think he bought it.
Okay. If I don't remember it and you don't remember it, I'd say that's a pretty solid chance that we didn't send it to him. Okay, thanks, Nick.
Yeah. Okay, no worries.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, he's back to whatever he was doing now. Maybe it might get to take a second to get back in the mood. But
Yeah. Or not.
by now, he's probably, settled in. Anyway, the point is, hey, thanks for the review. Appreciate it. Even if it had been more constructive, I would still have appreciated it. We really do value honest feedback. But I'm definitely more excited about W's. I'll say that much. Okay, you know what? No, we'll talk about that later. Sorry. Do you want to pick a topic?
Sure. SpaceX Starship successfully explodes.
Okay, that's not actually that misleading. Yeah, okay.
It's actually, yeah, pretty much.
Do go on.
SpaceX launched its new Starship rocket system yesterday. A few minutes later, the rocket experienced what SpaceX Twitter account called, and their live stream and lots of other things, it's actually an actual terminology, a RUD, or a rapid unscheduled disassembly before stage separation, i.e. kaboom. Much online commentary has framed this as a failure, but it wasn't. It was a test flight for a new, more powerful rocket system. The flight was unmanned, and there was no reported injuries or damage to property beyond the rocket and its payload. That is not true at all, but I'll go into that in a second. SpaceX has previously warned that the odds of success were low, and the primary purpose of the launch was to collect data, and data collection did they do. A bunch of things was very useful. The launch pad is gone. So there was damage to more things than just the rocket and its payload, because the launch pad was like burnt to an absolute, it's literally gone. There's a hole.
Right.
So that wasn't intended, and there's some ideas there. There was environmental damage. Yeah, I'm assuming so. The whole launch pad is gone, and there's a huge hole. So you could call that environmental damage. They have some plans of how to deal with that in the future. A lot of them actually, and I'm sure they'll address it. But this is one of the whole goals of this thing, right? Unintended. Someone in Twitch chat. Unintended launch pad removal. Yeah. You know, they rapidly prepped the site for new development.
Kerbal Space Program style. Let's go.
Yeah. So I think it's sweet.
Someone apparently got hit by debris.
Did they actually?
That's what someone's saying. A car got hit 500 meters away, which is
500 meters from a launch site. Probably shouldn't park your car there.
Well,
note for next time.
I mean, yeah, but also like, it could have been a lot more than 500 meters too.
Yeah. I'm not going to believe any of those things unless I see official details. Ooh, is this a screenshot of the launch pad? Yeah, okay.
I'm coming over to your laptop.
Yeah, so damage to only the Starship is a not so much, because there used to be a flat launch pad there.
We call that a whoopsie doodles.
Yep. But again, like, as far as my understanding goes, they were aware that there might be some problems there, and they already have plans for fixing it for next time. This is what tests are kind of about, right? Like, there's going to be problems. The fact that it blew up was not actually, like, an issue. It was fine. They went into this 100% expecting that could be a very likely outcome, right? If my understanding was correct, they expected it to land in the water and be, like, not properly recoverable, even if it didn't blow up.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, yeah, it's a thing. Yeah, but yeah, that's cool. If you haven't seen it yet, I don't think we're going to show the footage here, but you should go watch it because it's actually, like, really cool.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Yeah. I've read some theories. I don't know how much of this stuff is true, but some of the issues with the launch pad are why some of the boosters didn't actually fire properly. So the boosters not firing properly might not be as big of an issue as we initially thought, because I think it might be related to the launch pad. I don't know if that's true or not. I've seen a lot of information on this that has already been debunked. So yeah, look into it yourself if you want. The amount of armchair scientists has been very fun to watch. These idiots, they should have done this thing. Yeah, sure, dude.
Yeah, I bet they
Whatever
didn't
you
think of that.
say, yeah. Like, there's plenty of things, as far as I can tell from actual real sources, that like they did think of. But you're gonna think of different things forever, and at a certain point, you just need to test what you got.
It's kind of like a lot of the things that I see in the comments under our videos. Like a really good one is at some point I was talking about how we've reordered more screwdrivers, and someone basically was like, after the failure of the backpack and screwdriver, how could he possibly be ordering? Okay, come outside your little bubble that you live inside for 2 seconds, and or like, would you even be willing to consider that I am a just marginally rational being for a moment, and that I wouldn't throw good money after bad? If I'm ordering more, okay, if we're working on Lux backpack, if we're working on new colorways of the screwdriver, if that's happening, could you not consider a reason other than me being phenomenally stupid that I might be ordering more of them, right? Like, right, if it, sorry, I actually worded that wrong. Maybe I am phenomenally stupid, but it was probably successful, right? Otherwise, I would be phenomenally stupid to be ordering more. So if your brain can't handle any reality where I am not just spectacularly dumb and these were a failure, maybe the problem is you. And it's the same for looking at stuff like this. Like, yeah, a lot of experts do work at SpaceX, and they've done a lot of stuff that's, quite frankly, just mind-bending, game-changing. Yeah, utter failure. LTTstore.com says HB Curb over on Twitch orders more failed products that mysteriously sell out. It's probably a conspiracy. I'm probably hiding those products in a warehouse somewhere, just shoveling them in there so that I can pretend.
Try this one more time on the off chance that anything works. Back to his original configuration.
They're sold out so that I can order more.
I got a post.
Apparently there was, yeah, I don't know if this is legit at all. I'm not even going to show it, but there's a van and it shows it getting hit by what looks like some flying blocks of cement.
No, apparently it was parked there to record the launch and they knew the risk.
Yeah,
and that is real.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, chat was talking about that a fair bit before.
Well, okay, I mean, if that's the case, then it sounds good. Because, yeah, if you go to watch these things, you have to be really far out.
That's still damage.
For sure.
So it definitely still wasn't just the rocket.
Oh, no,
that's the only point.
For sure. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I never thought it was just the rocket.
Who knows?
But yeah,
it's now booting properly.
Really cool to see. I'm excited. I have had no time since the launch to actually look into it because I've just been very busy, but I'm excited to look into it more. And I've heard lots of really cool things and I want to see more of it. I watched just a little 3-4 minute clip.
Yeah.
And that was awesome. So I'm excited to watch more.
Nemzi in Floatplane chat says these guys clearly don't understand the concept of a whale or how many you have. It's not actually the whales that drive the store success. Like we
What
have.
do you mean?
What?
I could totally see a whale buying 50,000 screwdrivers. Why not?
That's not how that works. Like we have stats, and there are people whose lifetime spend is very high because, like, as much of their wardrobe is LTT store as mine is, but there's only so many shirts you can buy.
Yeah.
Like there's a limit, right? You can't go full.
This computer's
like,
magically working now.
You know, I'm trying to think like Candy Crush, whale on this. Rise of Kingdoms or whatever the mobile games are called. What's that cringe one that everyone's mad at people for taking sponsorship money from?
Raid Shadow
Not
Legends.
Clash of Clans.
Raid Shadow Legends?
Raid Shadow Legends, right? Like we're not talking about people spending tens of thousands of dollars on LTTstore.com. You can only use so many screwdrivers at once. No, we actually just really did sell over 100,000 screwdrivers. I think we're up to about.
Hello? Hi, Tanner? Hey, it's Chris over at the computer shop. Alright, you can come pick your computer up. Yeah. I literally had to unhook everything and reset the CMOS and the BIOS, and it seems to be working fine now. Okay, yep, I close at 1. So. Yep, I'm going.
About 125, 130,000 now. We're moving. We removed the counter, but I mean, I'm all about transparency, guys. So we're still
all one
moving
whale.
on average about 200 to 250 a day. It's wildly successful, and no, it's not because we have somehow bamboozled people
It's
into
just,
buying
There's
it.
just one person. It just takes them that long to add 250 to the cart. It's I'm telling you, man. It's just one whale runs the whole store. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
How do you think
anyway.
everything released is successful?
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be just that one.
It's not because they're good products. It's just one big whale.
Yeah, any opposition I've had to anything that Elon Musk has done is actually just a big smokescreen, because we're BFFs and he orders everything off of LTTstore.com just as a personal favor. Yeah, and then I've got to kind of run interference on this whole thing. That's where my like 4D chess theories about him trying to offload Twitter while he secretly turns it into the everything app, but people won't see it coming because I'm out here talking about how he's actually trying to get rid of it, and then the value's going to go up and the shares are going to be worth so much.
It's a brilliant plan.
We should probably talk about Twitter.
Oh, what?
Not much.
What part?
Well, I lost my check mark.
What did they do? Oh. To be clear, neither of us ever had personal ones.
I was actually so far ahead of the curve on this one. It's not often. Look, I'm gonna take this W where I can, because it is so rare that I am ahead of the trend. Okay? I was already too cool for a blue check mark. We had one on the corporate account, and that was really important because it reduces impersonation. Well, that's really the main reason. It reduces impersonation, and we don't want a situation where people are getting scammed. Twitter seemed to care about that before, so they would verify notable personalities and companies, and we treated that account as our corporate account, and we continue to. It's at Linus Tech. But once I handed Linus Tech, which was my personal account before, once I handed it over to Linus Media Group Inc. and then started my personal Twitter, which is at Linus G. Sebastian, I even once they opened up Twitter verification to anyone who applied for it, as long as you verified your identity, I was like, no. No. I'm
All right, let's. What do we got here?
I'm going to be verified by my follower count and by my irreverence here on in everything that I am tweeting at people. And if you don't know that that's actually me, then I guess you just don't know. Guess you're not in the know. So I am just as unverified as I was before, but slightly less irreverent because I haven't really posted that much. I came out of semi-retirement to mock someone who suggested that I couldn't afford the $8 a month for a blue tick. And I was like, let me tell you, $8 a month, utterly meaningless in the context of Linus Media Group's operations here. If we don't have a blue check mark, it's because I decide not to.
It also isn't $8 for the company, right?
So it depends. It depends what you're trying to do. I forget how the like $1,000 a month one works. I haven't really looked into it that much because frankly, I don't care. A free speech platform where you have to pay to be heard is not a free speech platform. That's simply not how that works.
What does he call it again? I don't
Town
remember.
Square.
No.
Oh.
The like form of, he's like free speech but not free.
I don't know. Anything you have to pay for is not free because it doesn't apply to the people who can't pay for it. So it's
Well, no, he had
simple.
a term for it because like you could still tweet, you just don't get the promotion or whatever.
Oh, right, which is exactly what Twitter was accused of doing in the past. Which is
No,
effectively
I'm not trying to defend it. He had like a word for it or a phrase for it or something. I don't know what it was.
It was
Free
the kind of
speech, not
thing
free
that if you
soapbox.
believe it, then
Free speech, paid reach. Yeah, I think that's it.
then you, I don't know. I guess
Freedom of speech, not
Enjoy
freedom of reach. There you go. Sure. Anyways, moving on because
Anywho-
Twitter
oh,
sucks. And
No, I
always
want to
has.
talk about our plan. We have a plan.
For Twitter?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, depending on how things go over the next little while with Twitter, it could be that we continue to engage on there the way that we always have. It could be that it ends up not making as much sense. Like if the audience dwindles, then we might not continue. But whatever ends up happening over on Twitter, I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna lean hard into YouTube community. Yeah, like the reach is better. It engages more directly with our core audience, which is on YouTube.
Yeah.
On the occasional times that we have posted what we put on Twitter, which is usually just like kind of shit posting and stuff like that, it's been received extremely well in YouTube community posts.
I will also say for the Floatplane people, if you're not already on the beta site, I would suggest doing it because it's like way more awesome and stuff. But you might have noticed a lot of little features coming out over the last few weeks. Another one of those that we're planning, which is very close to being ready, is
I
configurable
strongly
notifications
dislike
for
this
subchannels.
packaging.
You might already see if this is
This is actually stupid.
Well, that's a collapsed sidebar too.
Oh,
but you can see how there's like all the
Right.
so
Sorry,
there's the arrow at the bottom.
one sec, I'm
left-hand
working
corner.
on. I'm a working on it. There we go.
You can manually collapse it, but there's one
What
little
the
update
hell?
now where click the little arrow,
That's an LCD cover.
so you can expand and collapse that without re-navigating where you are.
Oh, okay. Oh,
There
cool.
you go.
Okay.
See? So yeah, so that changed like literally today. But we're gonna have another sub channel for these like social posts or community posts or whatever they are. We just don't want to add it right now because right now you wouldn't be able to turn the notifications
This
off for
is
just
a
that.
Right.
And if you have notifications on
This is a
for
palm
everything
mess.
that Linus Tech Tips offers and LMG Clips, which is going to be added,
It'll be a little overwhelming.
and social posts and everything else, it's going to be very overwhelming. So we're waiting to add some of
can
those.
ship a
until this
laptop
feature
in
comes
a
in, which is like literally right around the corner, and then you'll be able to manually configure notifications for each subchannel however you want, and then we'll have all those types of things on here as well. So you won't be left out.
We've got some good extras on Floatplane right now, by the way. This is an early access video that's coming up this weekend. What happened? Nope. This is an early access video that's coming up this weekend. Sports branded tech products are a pretty bad deal.
I just watched the intro. It's great. It's really good.
Okay, we can show the intro.
Oh, you don't have to? Yeah, okay.
Nope.
No sound.
Sports ball!
Home run, touchdown! Between the pipes was great. And then just immediate. It's so relatable because
Yeah.
the second you pulled those onto screen, I had the same reaction. I was like, oh, what are those?
You know what? That's actually part of our intro laws. We've been working on how to write better intros lately with the writing team. And one of the laws is that the first 20 seconds has to contain something that makes it broadly relatable. Because no matter what it is, whether it's a 25-year-old voodoo brick, say, for example.
Oh, my. That's actually pretty cool. I'm excited for that.
Whether it's something like that, or whether it's a brand new graphics card just released, $1,600, we have to find some way to make it relatable. So with the voodoo brick, say hypothetically, if we were going to make a video about that, a way to make it relatable might be to tie it into the evolution of multi-GPU technology over the years, where it came from, what it became, where we think it's going, because multi-GPU is not gone.
Yeah.
And it's coming back stronger than ever. Mark my words. And we make a really strong argument for that in the video.
Interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, or with the $1,600 GPU. I mean, most people will never own that.
Yeah.
That's not opinion. That's a fact. Most people will never own that GPU.
For sure.
But how can we make that more broadly relatable? Well, we can talk about how the performance and the features that we're seeing here first and are excited about here first are going to make their way down to lower price points until, you know, whether it's 2 or 3 or 5 years down the line, it will be attainable to most people. And really, us covering this card is us just showing it to you early. You could think of it that way. So I think that's, you know, the angle that we would take if we were to make a video about micro LED technology, which I am also really hoping to do soon, but nothing's actually locked in on that. Right, the last thing I had wanted to show you guys over on Floatplane is that we've got a really great series of exclusives going on right now.
Ooh,
this one's called Their First Time.
I enjoy those. Those are great.
Nick and Colton react to their first times on camera. Really cool. We've got extras from the Working for LMG. So these are full, I believe, uncut. I haven't watched them because I'm not allowed, but I believe they're uncut interviews from that video. So you guys can watch through those if you want, if you're over on Floatplane.
Yep.
The platforms, that's another popular punching bag for haters, is how much we suck.
Oh yeah.
And how bad Floatplane is. There's a post on Reddit right now with like 1,500 upvotes or something like that about how awful Floatplane is and how we're failures and whatever. It's like you can actually do the math.
There's some. I mean, there is some fair criticisms in there.
Take me home. Take me home while you can see me. All these people watching me and shit. Take me home.
Criticisms could have been dealt with if they had just clicked the link in the video description, which does take them to the page that has the price.
Every time I move, I feel it falling.
So we actually realize that there is an issue with that.
Take me home.
So that is completely true.
But
But if you view it on a mobile phone, so not in the app, but on a mobile phone, it collapses it and you can't see the pricing.
Oh.
So we're like, oh, so we'll.
Be right back.
I really don't understand the post office sometimes. Like, why was this package in my mailbox? Like, come on. No one puts baby in the corner. Hi, Emily. Emily is on has got me on YouTube. What's going on, Ishigai? You stop in every day and say what's up. Oh, it's time to forward my phone. I'm gonna get out of here. It's the end of my day. I said I'm closing up for the day, Emily. I'm getting ready to head home. But hey, Ishigeya, thank you for stopping by. I very much appreciate everyone who stops by. Yeah, what's your question, man? I'm going to be here for another about 15 minutes, so what's your question? Yeah, I see you at the airport, Emily. Yeah. Yeah, man, ask me the question. I'll hang out until you ask. Seeing as I have to connect up to a computer and fix something for somebody. Yeah, I'm good, Emily. I am good. Getting ready to head out, like I said.
Fix that.
So shout out, we will fix that, but it is not a failure, and that's not just, you know, huffing copium. It is actually not a failure because it actually generates millions of dollars a year in revenue.
Yeah.
Which is more than what most of the haters have done. So
yeah, and like we know the front page sucks. We're just
we do
focused
know
on
that.
other stuff. We will make the front page better.
And at least lately, we've been showing off new features often enough that people actually believe us that we're working on other stuff.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah,
we really were working on the other stuff before. It just
it wasn't really showable,
It's
but
hard.
it is now. I really like I know we literally just talked about it, but okay, so the little arrow that you guys saw next to the channel where you could expand and contract the subchannels, that used to be attached to clicking the channel at all.
Yeah.
And Jaden got it in today so that you can just click the arrow separately, and now it's like a fidget toy for me. I just sit here and expand and contract and expand all the time. I don't
so
know
we're
why,
gonna
but it's
keep
fun.
we're gonna keep working on quality of life features. This is a really cool just message. I happen to be looking at Floatplane chat. TJ Ford 1011 says, "I've been experimenting with using AI tools to assist with building customer websites faster. Is that something I should disclose to the customer?"
Oh,
Does a carpenter
No.
have to say what brand of saw they used?
Yeah, I don't think so.
I think-
Unless if you are using anything private that you are giving to this AI tool, and it is a externally ran tool, that could be like a data privacy issue.
Okay, I'm gonna head out. Thank you everyone for stopping by. Ishigaya, if you're here on Monday or later tonight, just feel free to ask me the question. I'm gonna be streaming tonight. This Rob person wants to do a follow for follow. Sure, I'll give you a follow, buddy. Rob Safari. How long? I wish I could see how long ago some of these messages were. There you go. I tossed him a follow. You are now following. Hey, look at that. Let me give him a follow. He's got viewers. I get no audio out of this, though. And I 100% should be getting audio. Follow for follow spec. Yeah, for sure. I'll follow anyone who follows me. It's how it works, man. Okay, I gotta go. I will talk to you all later this week. So, by later this week, I mean I'll be on tonight. So, if you guys are around, stop by, check it out. Deuces, have a good one. Emily, have a safe flight. Nice. That's a motherboard.